Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's pick a card slash cutesy animal reading, we are going to be looking at predictions for November 2022. I'm really excited to do this reading today, and I'm also excited because we are actually doing an extended today, which I don't typically do for monthly readings, but I decided I wanted to also look at your love life this month more in depth. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys kind of the reading breakdown and what's going to be in each. So for the YouTube reading, we're going to start by looking at 2 positive energies and 2 challenging energies that you're going to encounter this month, just to kind of have a full idea of what might be happening. And then we're going to use the tarot cards to see what kind of blessings you'll receive this month. And then we're going to get guidance on how to specifically handle any challenges that come up in the oracle cards. And then we're going to look at an internal resource that you have within yourself to lean on support, and guidance on an external resource you have to lean on for support. And then we will finish off with final advice and guidance. And then I will be moving over to the extended on Vimeo, which will be linked down below. And over there, we're first going to see the overall energies for your love life. So whatever pile you pick in this reading, you'll go and pick that pile in the extended. But then, sorry, Mr. Sea Turtle, we will go and look specifically at how this will play out depending on your relationship status. So if you're single, in a situationship, or in a relationship, we'll see how those energies translate. And then I also decided to pull a message for divine counterparts as well. You could be a divine counterpart in a relationship, or you could be a divine counterpart and be single. It could be really anything. So I just decided to cover all my bases, and then we will get overall guidance for your group, and then overall guidance for the specific groups within each video. So if you're interested in checking that out, that will be linked down below. But let's go ahead and get into our 3 piles. So starting with pile 1, we have this first stack of oracle cards, as well as this Rhodochrosite Dolphin. And then for pile 2, we have the second stack of oracle cards, as well as this Serpentine and Angelite turtle, sea turtle to be specific. And then for pile 3, we have the third stack of oracle cards, as well as this Amethyst whale. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. This is an example of where you may just want to pick one, but if you feel like you are drawn to more than one, it's quite possible you could have multiple messages in both piles. The most important thing is to just take what resonates and don't let the rest take from you. And it's also important to remember that the future is never set in stone. So just know that I am reading based on how the current energies look as of right now, but things can always change, and it's important to be aware of that. So go ahead and figure out which pile you feel most drawn to, and once you have found your timestamp linked down below, I will go ahead and see you in your reading. Hi there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rhodochrosite Dolphin, this is going to be your reading on predictions and advice for November 2022. So if you want a breakdown of the reading, I have that listed in the intro. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it and start by looking at the 2 positive energies that you are going to be experiencing this month, and the 2 challenging energies. So to start, we have cleansing waters. We have Jesus with forgiveness, compassion, and the spiritual teacher. We have cold lands, learn how to keep yourself warm. Abandonment, challenges, aloofness. And we have hiding your true self. So I actually want to start with this Jesus card because, understandably so, I would not be shocked if some of you are either uncomfortable with this card being here or even find it slightly triggering. And I completely understand that, especially because I used to be in the same boat. But I feel like one thing that you need to know about this energy is that the card of Jesus is coming through, and his energy specifically, to resonate with the energies of forgiveness and compassion, and to let you know that he is here watching over you. Whether you are let me just say this super clearly. You do not have to be a Christian or resonate with Christianity in any way. I'm not a Christian to have Jesus in your life. Jesus loves literally everyone, just like all the other ascended masters. They love all beings, and they want us to experience our own spiritual liberation and live a life of joy that's authentic to who we truly are. And sometimes that can be kind of a hard thing to understand, especially when people say and do atrocious things in his name. But in my experience with him, he loves all beings unconditionally. And it doesn't matter whether you have an aversion to him or you don't want to ask him for help. That's totally fine. He's there anyway. He loves you, and he is always there to help you with these energies of forgiveness and compassion. I think one of the most humbling things about him is that he's always been in my life, and I've never realized it, especially because I had that aversion because I grew up in like the Christian religion, and that was kind of challenging. But when I felt his love for me for the first time, it was the most humbling thing in the world, because I just realized how much he loves humanity and how much compassion he has for us. And the fact that he literally forgives and loves the people that do and say really harmful things in his name. He loves everyone and has compassion for everyone, and that is kind of just how amazing his loving energy is. However, if you are uncomfortable or averse to him specifically, if you have any other divine beings that you know of that resonate with love and compassion, you could seek them out if you are needing help with those certain things, or if you would like to replace the face with something you feel more comfortable with. That is fine. Jesus is not going to be offended. He is a enlightened spiritual being that just loves everyone and wants everyone to, experience those energies of compassion and forgiveness towards themselves first and foremost. So I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way, because I can understand that it might be uncomfortable. And so just know, like, even if you're like, I don't care, Aso, I don't care if he loves me, I don't want to be involved with him, that's totally fine. But if that makes you uncomfortable, try not to think of the figure itself, and think of the energy behind the figure. The energy behind the figure is unconditionally loving, absolutely compassionate, and totally forgiving. Trust me, even if you're like, screw you, Jesus, he'll forgive you. He loves you. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't even believe in him. He doesn't care. He loves you anyway. So the point of this being that there is significant healing coming up for you this month, and Jesus is one of the figures that you could pray to for help during this process, because sometimes it can be really challenging to go through these healing processes, because it's very easy for us to judge ourselves or shame ourselves or feel ashamed for being human and having emotions and recognizing our wounds or the things that we've been suppressing. So first and foremost, one of the positive energies coming through for you this month is divine support in the form of finding forgiveness for yourself and having compassion for yourself and what you have needed to do in order to stay alive, keep going, and do what you've needed to do. I feel like this is a really wonderful opportunity this month for you to get closer with your own spiritual nature, or get closer to your own soul. And the fact that we have cleansing waters here, I feel like there is a beautiful divine shift coming for you, where I think you're going to be releasing and letting go of past experiences that maybe have been coming up a lot, whether subconsciously or consciously, and recognizing the healing opportunities beneath them, or having the awareness that they no longer need to stay in your psyche or stay in your energy. There is a lot about cleansing here, and I think one of the beautiful things that you're going to be doing especially is cleansing and healing your energy in whatever ways work best for you. So if you have no idea what energy cleansing is, or energy clearing is, I would go ahead and do a little bit of research around that. But one thing that this card specifically suggests is, like, when you're taking showers or taking baths, or if you're in a body of water, literally just visualizing any heavy energy, any negativity, any fear, anything that's kind of been stuck in your energy, kind of picturing the water being like white or golden light that is just pure and unconditionally loving, and kind of just picturing it, like, for example, if you're in the shower, picturing that water being that light and kind of just cleansing and healing what is within you. Even if you can't visualize it, just the intention is enough. And just kind of doing that for as long as it feels good. It definitely will help and make a difference. And then just setting the intention that you want to protect that energy. Projecting that energy is also nice because we could all use a little bit of light in our lives, right? And just affirming that this is your feel-good bubble and that it is yours and no one is allowed to harm it or get involved with it. So I definitely think that this month you might be having a lot of realizations about things that were never your fault, that you might have been holding guilt or shame over. And those revelations, while they might be freeing, it might also bring out a lot of emotion that maybe you're uncomfortable with. And I feel like this is one thing that you need to forgive yourself for, is for feeling like you have to hold your emotions back, or that you can't have emotions, or that having emotions makes you weak. It actually takes a really strong person to be able to allow their emotions to flow even when they're uncomfortable with them, and to say, hey, you know, I'm feeling XYZ, and feeling through the emotion. I feel like what's really happening this month is that you're coming into awareness of how maybe you have been allowing yourself to betray yourself in the name of feeling safe around others or being accepted by people that maybe didn't have your best interests at heart. And I don't just mean people, but I mean also like workplaces, I guess friend groups and workplaces also involve people. So I guess it's just groups of people where maybe you've experienced recently some people leaving your life and that could have been really hurtful, or you find that you just can't be around certain people or be in certain environments anymore. And I think you're becoming more and more aware of your inner essence and the truest parts of yourself. And while that's really exciting, it can also be really scary, because obviously those deep parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we truly resonate with, are very special and sacred to us. So when people reject that, it's normal that we're going to feel like, oh, we're going to feel it more deeply, and we might be more sensitive to that because it's deeply meaningful to us. But I feel like what you are realizing this month, or becoming aware of, is that it is not worth suppressing yourself or suppressing who you truly are in order to appease people around you that can't understand or can't see the beauty in your true self. And so I feel like what's going to be happening this month, and this might be in physical ways where you consciously do healing rituals or cleansing rituals where you're really focusing on your energy, especially if you are an energetically sensitive person. You might be coming aware, like if you identify with the term empath, for example, you might be coming aware of how so much of this density and negativity that you've been feeling hasn't necessarily been the true you, but been what you've been carrying from others. Especially, I just heard the term divine dumpster, and the way that my guides are explaining that to me is you might feel like people kind of come to you and they talk to you about their problems, or they talk to you about what they're going through, or they might whine or complain, and they feel better after being with you, but you feel depleted and worse. And so I feel like this is spirit saying you don't have to be someone's energetic container for their own energetic burdens. You know, the biggest and most powerful thing you can do is affirm your sovereignty, your energetic sovereignty, and refuse to take on anything that doesn't belong to you. You might still take it on, but when you become aware of what you're taking that's not yours, it becomes much easier to return that to sender, and which return to sender is just essentially, oh, is this mine? No, let's return that to wherever it came from, because it really can be as simple as that. And with that awareness, you'll find that you won't feel as heavy. Things won't feel as challenging because you're not taking on the energies and emotions of other people. And oftentimes people that are not energetically sensitive, they don't even realize that they're doing it. But when you are energetically sensitive, when you do feel these subtle energies, it can be a lot to take all of that on. And so I think the biggest thing this month is that you're reorienting how you hold compassion, in terms of being compassionate towards yourself and not allowing yourself to be dragged under by energies that are not yours to carry or handle, but also having compassion for the fact that people and their suffering does not have to be something that you have to carry, because truthfully, that's not compassionate towards yourself. And it might be that as you're going through this healing process, you get more and more frustrated or even angry or just sad at how many times maybe you've accepted subpar treatment or accepted behavior from others that was totally their problem or their projections, and you accepted it as truth. And so this is a great example where homie Jesus, or who are some other energies that would also be very loving? I mean, any emanation of Buddha, like Kuan Yin, or there's tons of emanations of Buddha, but any ascended master in general, I think, can kind of help with this. But Jesus is a great example of forgiveness and compassion. Like, he literally forgave the people that crucified him while he was still alive. Like, those are some big ass spiritual balls. And like, he is not saying that you need to forgive the people that have brought you harm or that brought you any challenge or struggle or hurt. But what he is saying is that you do need to forgive yourself for what you did in the past, especially if you know that you've caused any hurt or harm. I mean, if you need to like talk to people and communicate that, I think that could be really helpful. If not in person, maybe just calling in their higher self and seeing what you need to do. That message might be just for a few people. But the point of what I'm trying to say is that this is less so about you just, in terms of your healing path right now, I feel like you need to be less focused on others and more focused on yourself, especially when it comes to compassion and forgiveness. So I'm not saying like, oh, forgive the people that harmed you and just like, get over it. Like, no. You can't really hold compassion or have forgiveness for people if you don't know how to hold it for yourself first. And also, you have to acknowledge the fact that you are human. Like, Jesus isn't human anymore. Like he doesn't have an ego. Like, he's not going to be offended. He can hold a lot of space and a lot of energy because he's not human. But you are human. You have intense emotions. You live in the physical world. Like, you are dealing with human challenges, and it is very unfair to yourself to hold yourself to higher standards than, or perfectionist standards that are just going to leave you depleted and drained. So the point of these bright energies this month in terms of Jesus and cleansing waters is you are going to be having these beautiful healing opportunities where you become aware of weights that you've been carrying that are no longer yours to carry, that were never yours to carry. And there might be emotions that come out as a result where you feel like, wow, I can't believe I thought that, or wow, I can't believe I treated myself that way, or I can't believe I put up with that behavior or those people, things like that. And the biggest key here is that instead of beating yourself up for that and being like, oh, I was so stupid or I was so foolish, saying, I'm glad I know better now so that I don't have to carry that. And recognizing that you can't change the past, but you don't have to keep carrying something, especially once you realize it was never your responsibility to carry in the first place. But I do feel like what is going to be challenging now is, now that you're becoming aware of who you truly are, how do I express that? Who am I? How do I do this? How do I share this with other people? How do I find the people that are going to accept me? And the biggest thing that you need to know is that you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to go with the flow and accept what is and accept what's coming up, especially because you might experience some intense emotions this month, especially if you have been more emotionally turned off, if you've been more apathetic and haven't really been connected to yourself. You're gonna start feeling connections to your body, connections to your emotions, and you're probably going to be uncomfortable with it. But the thing is that feeling those things doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. And having compassion for yourself, especially if you're having a challenging day where you're feeling a lot of emotions, don't push through it and tell yourself you're fine. Like, get over it, you little baby. Like, babies are smart as fuck. Well, I mean, I guess you're not a baby, okay? You're human, and humans have emotions, and a lot of us are suffering greatly because they refuse to acknowledge their emotions and then project them and project their shadows out on other people. And then sensitive people like you get caught up in that, and then you don't know what is you and what is them. So this is a process where you are learning what is you and what is them. And as you are discovering yourself, the biggest challenge is learning to let go of the judgments and the shame that you may have picked up through your conditioning. So Spirit is really saying this month is about learning to embrace who you truly are, and learning to embrace, one, your sensitivity, and two, your kind heart. And the fact that your kind heart is not something that is bad. I mean, the fact that you are willing to put up with other people's burdens, that you want to help other people, that you want to be there for people, just goes to show like the type of person you are and the integrity that you have. But the important thing is that when you have a loving heart, you can't just give it to everyone, because if you give it to anyone and everyone, then there's nothing left for yourself, and two, you leave yourself vulnerable to people that can't hold and cherish a kind heart like yours. So Jesus or any other loving and compassionate ascended master is coming through to say, hey, if you need help forgiving yourself, if you need help having compassion for yourself, just say, hey, Jesus, hey, Buddha, hey, Kuan Yin, I really need help holding compassion for myself. Can you please help me right now? Thank you. Like, even just that. I mean, a prayer doesn't have to be perfect, but just having the intention of asking for help is so powerful. And I feel like you might be overthinking how challenging it actually is to be yourself, but really the challenge is letting go of the past and letting go of the conditioning that you were subjected to that made you believe it was wrong to be yourself, that made you believe that you were inherently bad or messed up because of the way that you naturally were. It's not about changing who you are, it's about changing your perception and recognizing that how you were made is not something to be ashamed of, but understanding how you are made is the awareness that you need in order to protect yourself and also become aware of the right kinds of people and energies in your life. So I feel like if you've been going through a dark and challenging time, this is the kind of like the breaking point where you're breaking free of a lot of those challenging energies and starting to become aware that all of these challenges that you've been going through haven't been to beat you down and make you feel worse, but to help you recognize that all of the things that came your way were never a direct punishment from the universe. It was a result of human suffering and humans being humans, and the fact that we're all kind of just trying to do our best in this material world where there is a lot of density and negativity, especially right now. And I think what you are learning to realize is that while there may be a lot of negativity, while there may be a lot of suffering, you do not have to add to your own suffering. You do not have to take on other people's suffering. You know, we all, like, dealing with ourselves is challenging enough, and we can't fix or change other people. We have to focus on ourselves. And so I think that this is like hitting a divine reset button this month, where you're being like, oh my gosh, okay, I really wasn't doing anything wrong here, but I may have betrayed myself by not listening to my intuition here, or I may have betrayed myself by not listening to my own needs and instead prioritizing the needs of others. I feel like you might be kind of going within and feeling like you need to be in a bit of a hermit mode. That's absolutely okay. Don't feel pressured to fit in or run with the crowd. This is all about nurturing yourself and self-care this month, because I think that there are going to be intense emotions coming through, but they're not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're healing, and it's a sign that you're letting go of things that have been pent up for quite a while. And the beautiful thing is that as these energies flow through you and as these emotions flow through you, it makes more room for peace energy. It makes more room for joyous opportunities, and it makes more room for you to see who you truly are and how beautiful you actually are. And I'm not just talking about physical beauty. I'm talking about inner beauty, the beauty of your heart, the beauty of your spirit, and the beautiful compassion that you have within. So this month is definitely about you realizing that finding acceptance in the circles that you once did, or finding nourishment or joy in these circles that you were looking for, especially if you were trying to find joy through acceptance of others, I think you're realizing that that's actually a fallacy, and that's not what's going to make you happy. And I think what you are learning to recognize is that yes, the world may be cold and there might be cold and cruel people, but you don't have to be one of them, and you don't have to let yourself be vulnerable to those people. And sometimes we might do that. Sometimes we might slip up, but when that happens, we don't have to beat ourselves up further. We just have to become aware of what made us vulnerable in the first place, what put us in harm's way in the first place, and make a promise to ourselves that we can and will do better. But more than anything, this is about you recognizing how wonderful your true self is. And honestly, you should be excited. Well, I don't want to tell you how to feel, but I think that I know your guides and your spiritual team and the universe is very excited for you to start discovering how magnificent you are. And just know that these shifts and these challenges that you're going through are not punishments, are not a sign that you're doing something wrong. They're a sign that you're doing something right and getting closer to your true self. It's kind of like the emotions are the layers that need to be removed in order for you to kind of see more clearly. Like, you know how water isn't, when water is rushing, so emotions are like water. So when water's rushing, you can't really see the bottom because there's sand, sediment, mud kind of being mixed around. But when the water settles, you can see clearly to the bottom. And so that's kind of what's happening, is you're allowing your emotions to run through you so that you can start looking within and see how amazing you are, which is beautiful. And so I would definitely look up energetic, like cleansing meditations or clearing meditations. I would also look up clearing rituals with water. So whether you're a shower person, a bath person, if you're a bath or shower person, I would also recommend using some kind of bath salts in a healthy way, not in a unhealthy way, and using those to help cleanse yourself as well and reinforce that protection. Your power of will is stronger than anything, and I think one of the most beautiful things that you're going to be seeing this month is that you have so much more power than you realize, and that there was never anything wrong with you. You were always really beautiful. Like the only problems are with humans and how we perceive other people and how we perceive differences and how we get our own projections and ego caught up in the mix. So this is your sign to be kind to yourself this month. Give yourself grace, be compassionate towards yourself, and just allow yourself to flow through things and experience things without placing judgments on them or trying to understand things more deeply. Just flow through it. You don't need to intellectualize it. You don't need to try to understand it. It all is well and all is happening as it's meant to. So we're going to go ahead and get into the tarot now and dive a little deeper. But while I am shuffling the tarot, I did quickly want to mention that we are doing an extended and we are going to be looking at love predictions for this upcoming month. So if you pick this pile, be sure to pick the same pile in the extended. And what we are going to be doing is whether you are single, in a relationship, in a situationship, in a divine counterpart connection, I'm going to be pulling overall energies, and then I'm going to be pulling specific cards to look at how these overall energies for your love life are going to affect you based upon your relationship status, based upon where you are at in your love life. So I'm really excited to do that, and if you want to check that out, it will be linked down below, but if not, I'm just grateful you're here. So let's go ahead and start by seeing blessings or a blessing that will come this month as a result of all this wonderful healing work that you're doing. And let me just say, this healing work doesn't have to be consciously. A lot of healing happens naturally. Like when you have a scrape on your body, like when you cut yourself or something like that, like you get a cut, like you don't have to you don't have to Google, how does my body heal this thing? Your body knows how to do it naturally. The same way we go to sleep every night, which there's an excellent example of where you can start healing. If you're not sleeping well enough, that's where you want to look. Literally just, there's so many simple ways that we can heal naturally. And I feel like the more you can kind of let go of the how and be open to, what do I need? What is my body yearning for? What is my mind yearning for? What is my heart yearning for? What could help me with this right now? It's less about finding the way to do it, and instead finding your way to do it and not overthinking everything. So Spirit, what blessing will pile 1 be experiencing this month, please? We have the Ace of Pentacles. This is so beautiful. I definitely think that there are opportunities coming your way, especially if you have been struggling when it comes, I feel like you are finding more solid ways of being that are helping you be able to show up in life more consistently, especially if you're someone who really shames yourself for not being accountable, not being consistent. I feel like that's something you really shouldn't shame yourself for. I feel like the more you become aware of what's going on underneath you, the more you'll realize, wow, I can't believe I've just been functioning and existing in the world with this much pain underneath me. I am so strong. I can do so much. You are so powerful. It doesn't mean you should. That's why healing is important. But the recognition of that is wow. It's almost like expecting yourself to run a marathon and everyone else is dressed appropriately and you're like wearing a 50-pound backpack on top of it. It's like, yeah, that's going to be a lot more challenging for you because you're carrying this unnecessarily heavy backpack. But the point of this blessing is, one, this could be an opportunity where you're getting a new work opportunity to work somewhere new that might be more aligned with you. You might be starting your own financial opportunity. I just heard side hustle as well, where things might be coming together in terms of something that you want to start setting up, or maybe a business that you're starting, or maybe you might get an invitation from somebody else to start helping them with a side hustle. I am hearing for some of you, this might be collaboration. For others of you, you might be getting a solid opportunity in terms of like, if you are in terms of love, for example, or not love, but like relationships. Like this could be a solid new friend coming in, or a friend giving you an opportunity for you both to like bond together, and it helps your bond grow stronger. This could be a situationship where maybe the other person is coming in and saying, hey, like I want to take things to the next level. The Ace of Pentacles is all about opportunities, and considering these are opportunities in terms of the material world, I feel like no matter what's happening is you're starting to find the seeds that are going to help you be more stable and grounded in your present reality. And so whether you need grounding in your financial world, that could be something happening. If you need grounding in your home life, you could be finding that you have the funds needed to get some kind of repair done, or you have, like, let's say you have a rug that you've been really wanting and it goes on sale this month and you're like, oh yes, like I can actually get it. Or I feel like that this might come in so many different ways, and there might be multiple different opportunities, but I feel like what's happening is that this is the start of a much more solid time in your life where things feel less turbulent, and you start to kind of see, okay, I can start to see how the steps are unfolding. I can see where to go next. It's almost like you're clearing out any emotional and mental turbulence that has been making it a lot harder to ground your dreams into reality, to ground the goals that you have been wanting to accomplish. And I also feel like people will be coming in not because you're seeking them, but almost because you're not seeking them and wanting to help you. I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles card being here, whatever kind of opportunity you've been trying to get in the material realm is something that is coming to you, especially if you've done a specific manifestation around getting a certain job or getting a certain promotion or getting, I do feel like for a lot of you, this has to do with work and career. But for some of you as well, I do feel like this could just be a solid person coming into your life, whether in the form of a friend, a family member. I heard for some of you, like maybe you're moving closer to family, or a family member is moving closer to you, like a cousin. Maybe you're getting a new roommate that like isn't, that is like solid and dependable and does their fair share of the chores. Maybe you are, for some of you, if you're in school, you're finding a major that actually makes you really happy, or you're finally grounding. For some of you, if you're doing a side hustle or if you're a freelancer, you're coming up with the plans for an opportunity of something that you've been wanting to build. I just feel like this month, the blessing is that you are letting go of a lot of the things that were holding you back from being able to ground your goals into reality and to do what you needed to do. And I feel like if some of you have been needing external help, which we're going to look at that, but if some of you have been needing some sort of financial boost or support in some sort of way, I do feel like it's coming to you. And it's coming to you because you're not chasing it. It's coming to you because you're letting go and trusting that the universe is going to deliver it to you. And this might be something. Now, don't shame yourself if you do get worried this month and you're like, I don't know how this is going to happen. It's just when you find that happening, that's when you want to tell yourself, okay, hey, let go of the how and just trust. It'll unfold. The path will unfold. And I feel like also one thing as well is I think you're going to start seeing the value of what's already in front of you. Like, especially within your home, like I feel like you're going to be appreciating the stuff that you have and the people that you share your time with that do care about you and that do enjoy your company. I think you're going to be realizing where maybe you are putting your attention in the wrong things and it was causing you to miss out on the blessings right in front of your face. But I do think that there are just a lot of beautiful opportunities for you this month. And I think the biggest blessing is that you're going to start feeling more solid and more secure and like, okay, I can do this. I can set out for this goal. I can accomplish what I need to. here's your affirmation for this month. Things are always working out in my favor. Because this month there are opportunities coming, and it is important to take them if they feel right. Don't take them if they don't. But I really do feel like there are a lot of new beginnings coming, and I think that as you hold compassion for yourself and forgiveness for yourself, it's going to be a lot easier to make moves in the physical realm and to take action and plan out the steps and plan out what you want to do, because your mind and your mind isn't going to be as occupied with things that were causing you a lot of turbulence. That's what's being cleared. And I also think that for some of you, you might get an offer or an opportunity that starts as something small and builds into something more later. Like you might get an offer to like intern for a week or two or shadow someone, and then maybe they're like really impressed by your skills and then they invite you back or something like that. I do feel like beautiful opportunities are coming your way, and it just kind of depends where you're at in your life and what you're kind of looking for. Take this one as it resonates. But what I will say is that this blessing is going to show up in the material world. It's not going to be emotional or mental or spiritual. It's going to be a physical blessing. So now I want to see guidance on how to handle the challenges that you may be going through. So a lot of these challenges are around healing. So Spirit, what guidance do you have for pile 1 around their challenges? 9 of Swords. So yeah, this is a lot about paying attention to your mindset, because with this card being here, it is important to remember that our thoughts are not our reality, but our perception, they're not the objective reality. They're not who we truly are, but perception is our reality. And if you're kind of allowing your mind to run wild and to bully you and to shame you and be mean to you, that is something that the divine is saying, hey, it's time to start standing up to that. Now, changing our mindset does not happen in a day. It is not something that is always easy. It is something that requires discipline and consistent effort. So, for example, maybe you want to start writing out affirmations, or one thing that could be really helpful for you, especially if you're trying to like meditate or you really want to try and clear your mind more, set apart time to just write down everything that's racing in your mind, like every single thing. Don't even think about it, just write it. And whether you want to look at it or not, that's fine. But like if you give yourself 3 minutes just to write everything out, it can kind of help you dump what's going on in your mind. And if you look at it, you can be like, oh wow, I can't believe I was thinking those things, or like that isn't even grounded in reality. Like I'm not gonna let that. Like, so if it comes up again, you can say, okay, you're not grounded in reality. Like you're just causing me fear. Or if you don't want to look at it, you can at least have the relief of like, okay, I got it out. I don't need to focus on that anymore. If negative or intrusive thoughts do come, you can just say thank you for sharing and let it go. Or if it comes up and it particularly disturbs you, you can ask yourself, okay, how can I frame this thought from a neutral or positive place? Obviously, when we're stuck in more negative spaces, positivity can be kind of painful. So whether neutrality or positivity is more comfortable for you, I would pick that and just see how you can reframe the thoughts that make you feel uncomfortable. But if you need help on with this in some way, I do feel like Spirit is encouraging you to seek help, especially when it comes to like your mind. So if you need counseling, or for example, like if you have resources already, like if you go to school, or if your company has some sort of like benefits around seeking counseling or seeking help, I would definitely look into that. But I think a lot of what you need to know is that your mind is the biggest inhibitor in you integrating the healing that's meant to happen this month. And the thing that you need to know is that your mind is not reality. Even setting intentions to heal, setting intentions to cleanse yourself, setting intentions to be brighter and lighter, even if you can't feel it, that doesn't mean it's not working. But the more you can kind of get out of your head and feel into your body, feel into your heart, the more you can recognize that your head is not your truth. But if you're used to your energy being condensed there, it is going to take some time for you to learn how to be out of your head and be more present with all of you. You know, and when you're present with all of you, then you're able to kind of say, oh, that's just my head going, if that makes sense. But I definitely think if you need help working on your thoughts, especially with like cognitive behavioral therapy, or maybe even like getting a workbook, like one that I've used is like the anxiety and phobias workbook. There are different workbooks, like depending on what you may be struggling with, that could be helpful for you. But I think this is a lot about recognizing that your mind is the biggest inhibitor to you making the changes needed and to you integrating the healing that you are going through. And I feel like focusing on tackling that and recognizing that your mind is not in control of you, you are in control of your mind, and you do not have to let your mind should be serving you, it not the other way around. And so if you have that distortion of thinking that your mind has power over you and it controls you, doing what you need to do to feel like you can get back in the driver's seat and recognize, no, you may give me intrusive thoughts, you may bring me fear sometimes, but I do not have to accept that, and I can take steps to help with this so that I'm not just drowning in a sea of negative thoughts. Do that. Especially, like, I feel like the biggest thing is that don't feel ashamed if you do need help, because a lot of times it is really hard to change our mindset on our own. Like, sometimes we don't even realize how negative our mind can be or how wild our thoughts can run. So this is a lot about having compassion for yourself, especially when you do have a negative mind day and you're struggling to get out of your negative thoughts. You know, that is an excellent time to say, okay, I'm really struggling with my brain today. How can I show some compassion to myself, and how can I ground myself into now? So an excellent grounding way is, like I've already talked about, taking a bath or a shower or cleansing yourself, being in the water. That can be very healing. If you live near a body of water, going to that water and just feeling like the cleansing energy of that. If it's warm enough for you to get in the body of water and safe for you, maybe even just being in that and being in nature, just doing whatever you need to do in order to calm and quiet your mind. And if you don't know what that is, finding those solutions and testing it out and, you know, kind of running experiments on yourself to see what's going to help me. And if that means external help as well, that's okay too. But there are a lot of online resources as well if you're struggling and maybe you can't find help. That's not something that is accessible to you right now. Just looking up solutions for racing thoughts, solutions for certain things. There's a lot of online resources, and it's about finding what works for you. Not everything may work, and your racing thoughts may not go away immediately. It's about consciously working with it and recognizing that, you know, things will get better in time, and the more you work on dealing with them, the less they will be able to affect you and hold you back from seeing your beautiful light and your beautiful truth. Okay, so let's see a resource within you that you can lean on for support. So what does an internal resource pile 1 has? The 5 of Cups. Okay, so this is really interesting because this 5 of Cups always talks about perception, because the 5 of Cups can often talk about disappointments and things like that. And I love that this 5 of Cups is very similar to the traditional 5 of Cups, because you can see this beautiful mermaid is so focused on the 3 spilled cups that she's not seeing the 2 cups that are still upright. So the internal resource that you have that Spirit really wants you to focus on this month is when you find yourself being frustrated by a negative thought, or you find yourself being frustrated by a negative experience, or you're disappointed by something, acknowledge that and validate that, because it's okay to feel that way. But then also ask yourself, okay, but what has gone right today? Or what has brought me joy today that I can be grateful for? This is not about pushing away any negative feelings, any disappointment, but instead not allowing that to be the only part of the story, because there are still beautiful things in your life, and like whatever does make you feel grateful. Maybe it's a pet that loves you very much. Maybe it is getting to drink your favorite tea, or having a friend that just makes you laugh, or having a favorite show or a favorite thing that you watch. Like, just finding the things within your immediate reality that make you feel grateful can kind of help you deal with the disappointments or the negative feelings that may surface when you're dealing with them, and just recognizing that you do have the capability of acknowledging both. Truths can coexist. And so I just want you to know that I'm not saying that you should just push away your negative feelings or push away your disappointment or push that away, but instead of allowing it to be the whole story, which it's not, be open to, okay, we've acknowledged the negative, good job me. What's the positive? What good is going on? Even if it's the smallest thing. the fact that you're alive, the fact that you have a roof over your head, the fact that you have access to the internet, which may be more of a curse than a blessing sometimes, but it's more about how we use it, I think. And just recognizing that you do have the power to see the full story. Doesn't mean you should invalidate what your natural responses are and what you're experiencing, but it does mean that you can recognize that that's not the full picture. And what in the picture are you neglecting and ignoring because you're too focused on the sad parts, the frustrating parts, the disappointing parts? What are the positive parts? And they might just kind of help you balance yourself, or at the very least recognize that the disappointing parts don't have to be all of the full story. So Spirit, what is an external resource that pile 1 can seek for support at this time? We have the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. So I'm actually going to get a clarifier for this. Can we clarify this 2 of Pentacles, please? We have the Queen of Wands. Okay. So I definitely think that this 2 of Pentacles is someone that you know, or someone that you watch. I don't know why, but the 2 of Pentacles kind of gives me like Marie Kondo vibes. If you watch anyone or you're around anyone that helps you feel like a sense of control, that helps you feel more balanced and feel like you can juggle things, anyone that like talks about like organization or ways to calm your mind or ways to kind of balance a crazy schedule, I feel like those could be helpful external resources. But I also think with this 2 of Pentacles, you may have multiple external resources that could be in the forms of people, opportunities. I'm hearing community, like service in some way, like if you, there might be community programs that would be like helpful resources for you to rely on. With the 2 of Pentacles being here, I think you actually have multiple options, and depending on what those are, just becoming aware of what's going to be most helpful for you in the moment. Like for example, maybe you have a parent or a family member or friend that you like to go to when you're struggling, but sometimes they're not always the most helpful. It kind of depends on what you're bringing to their table. So like recognizing, okay, I need external support, but what kind of external support do I need? I think this is kind of Spirit saying with the 2 of Pentacles, you actually have multiple options, but it's about weighing those options and what you think is going to be most effective. But I definitely think with the Queen of Wands being here, if there is someone in your life, specifically a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone who's just very passionate, very fun, very bold, very fearless, that kind of just lights you up and brings you energy, they might be a good person to just spend time with. You don't even have to tell them what's going on, but I almost feel like their passion could help invigorate you, bring more confidence, and bring more clarity to yourself. I feel like if there's someone you admire for their courage, for their ability to take action, for their kick-assery, I feel like that's someone that maybe could help you have the confidence to keep facing whatever it is that you're going through, or help you recognize that you are brave and you are courageous too, because what you admire within them is what you also have within yourself. But I definitely think that at times it might not be people that are helpful for you. It might be resources like I was talking about, like workbook or content like podcasts, audiobooks, books in general that kind of help make you feel grounded and more present and calm. I feel like what Spirit is really saying is to identify the external resources you already have that help you feel supported and how they help you feel supported, so that you can know what kind of support you need when you know it's not just, when you can't just rely on yourself, you can't just rely on, your perspective. And recognizing what you're going to need. If you're feeling like you need a calm, quiet day and you just need to relax, the Queen of Wands might not be the best person to seek support from, or to seek reassurance from. But if you're really wanting to feel more fiery and feel more confident, she might be a great option. Another external resource you might need is calling the day off, or calling in a personal day or a sick day or something like that, and recognizing, okay, I don't need to be physically ill to use these mental struggles, emotional struggles. If I'm not feeling well and I really genuinely need a break, I need to honor that. But also, when you're giving yourself that break, don't squander the day by doing things don't make you feel better, like being on social media for too long, or consuming content that doesn't make you feel better, consuming content that is more negative, or that just reaffirms the fears you have. Like, don't turn on the news. Like, that is a day when you want to say, okay, this is about nurturing. And if you were your own parent, what would you do to help nurture yourself? This is about weighing your options and what will work best and becoming aware of what you need so that you don't seek out external help that is not going to support you in that moment, if that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead now and move on to final guidance for this month. We're going to start with some ocean guidance. So Spirit, what guidance do you have for pile 1 when it comes to this upcoming month? What advice would you like to give them? Childlike devotion. You are a multi-talented, complex being. Embrace and love who you are. And I love that this is a number 50 because I feel like this is something that you are recognizing and learning to do. So it's okay that it doesn't come naturally. This is about learning and growing. This is not about being perfect. None of us are perfect, and you can't hold yourself to those standards. But what else, Spirit, what other guidance could you give to pile 1? Keeping it in check. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You might be moving into something too quickly or missing important details. So yeah, this is another thing, especially when it comes to that seeking external support, recognizing where maybe resources are going to be helpful for you or not, or recognizing when you can handle something on your own or when you definitely need someone else's help or something else's help. And also just recognizing when you might be putting yourself in situations that you know are going to make you feel like crap. Obviously, like sometimes we can't control that. Sometimes we do have environments that do that, but if you are going to be in those environments, can you bring crystals that are going to help you protect your energy? Can you do an energy cleansing ritual and protection ritual for your energy before you go in there so the people that drain you can't access your energy as much? It's almost like just having more awareness of what is working, what isn't, and also recognizing when you may be allowing a slip to become a slide. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up for, making mistakes or making decisions that don't serve you. Just becoming aware of the fact that they don't serve you and, saying, I'm going to do better next time. And even if you don't do better next time, saying, well, that was a good reminder of why I need to do better next time. Just being nice to yourself and giving yourself a damn break, I think, is important. But also, not going into something just because you feel like other people will be happy or you want to please people. Ask yourself whether it's something that you want to do and it's something that will make you happy. But what else, Spirit? What other guidance can you give for pile 1, please? Where you need to be. Acknowledge how you are feeling. Have faith the universe will take care of a current concern by providing the best possible outcome for all involved. Yeah, I really do feel like things are going to be coming together for you this month. And like I said, this is a lot about just being kind to yourself and acknowledging how you're feeling and trusting that you will be able to move through and grow through whatever you go through. So finally, Spirit, what does pile 1 need to surrender at this time? Surrender to Spirit. Once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let Spirit work its magic for you. And what else do they need to surrender? We have surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation that I have faith that all is well. So pile 1, I'm going to be moving over now to the extended where we are going to look at love predictions for this month. So if you'd like to join me over there, please do that. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking if you enjoyed it. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. Thank you just so much for doing that because it helps and supports me so much. And liking also shows me what kind of content, what kind of videos you want to see. And it just supports me. And so if you enjoy what I do for you, those are excellent ways to support me. So if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can also comment down below. Let me know how it resonates. Subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can, like I said, also check out the extended. You can check out my social media, which is linked down below, though do be aware of scammers pretending to be me. I do not offer personal readings, and I will not slide in your DMs offering you a personal reading. They're also hanging out in the comments. I will not offer you a personal reading through the comments because I do not offer personal readings. And I also have merch link down below. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful November 2022. Happy birthday to my November Scorpios and Sagittarians. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Angelite and Serpentine turtle, this is going to be your reading on predictions and advice for November 2022. So if you want a breakdown of the reading and want to know what is all going to be happening, I did list that in the intro, so feel free to go back and check that. But we're just going to go ahead and get into it and look at your overall energies for the month. So starting with your light energies, we have the Temple of the Sea, and we have Baba Yaga, the Wild and Wise, Duality, and the Witch. And in terms of your challenging energies, we have Cosmic Highway, the universe is on your side, Signs, Divine Guidance, and Synchronicity. And we have Envious, Gluttony. Okay, I really love this. I hope you guys are excited, or I hope you kind of know what I'm already going to tell you. But you are definitely entering a very significant cycle of completion this month. And this cycle of completion is a lot more about coming home to yourself and feeling like things have come full circle for you, where you've fully completed a cycle and you're literally leveling up. And the interesting thing is, like, you might look at that leveling up card and be like, what? How is that a challenge? That's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. But with new heights come new challenges, new levels of growth come with new experiences. And I feel like in terms of your light energies this month, if you haven't fully reached a cycle of completion, that is what is happening this month. If you feel like you're really close to reaching like this level of healing, or this place where you've come full circle with a problem or with an internal issue, or just with yourself in terms of being more confident in yourself, figuring out who you are, understanding your direction, it's like you're finally, it's just this feeling of like, oh, yes, finally, things make sense. And I think the really beautiful thing is that this doesn't have to do with material success. You could be having something in your material realm come full circle. For some of you, I'm hearing you might finally get away from a certain like person or experience. Like if some of you have been going through like divorce proceedings or something like that, I don't want to be like speaking for the justice system, but I think you either might be like reaching acceptance and like fully moving on, or things might finally be coming to a close and it's like you can finally move forward. If there is something that you've been like really trying to move on from, whatever it may be, obviously the divorce example is just an example for a specific set of people, take what resonates, but I feel like whatever the case may be, you could be moving on from past experiences that were stopping you from fully living in yourself. You could be moving on from traumas that you thought were unhealable or that you thought were a part of you. I feel like this is a really empowering month where you are just recognizing the wisdom and the power that lies within you, and the fact that you're no longer holding on to illusions of what you thought would bring you joy, of what you thought you needed in order to be happy, of what you thought you needed in order to feel complete. If anything, maybe your material world isn't changing at all. Sorry, I burped. But you're looking at your world with new eyes, and it feels like you are seeing new solutions, you are seeing new ways of being. And I feel like if you have wanted to implement plans, like start something new in the material realm, you have the inner motivation, the inner drive, and the inner confidence to be able to face that without being held back by conditions that would have held you back in the past. I love that Baba Yaga is here, because I feel like you are really embracing the wisdom that you have learned and recognizing that, like, sure, while you may not have chosen the experiences that you have, I feel like you're really falling in love with who you are and falling in love with the fact that, like, even though you may not have always realized that the universe was on your side, even though you may not have always seen your power, you are starting to recognize the magnitude of your being and just how wonderful you are. And you're like, wow, okay, I see what the universe was talking about. I am amazing. I am great. I can't believe I spent so much time wasting it, or well, not wasting it. I don't think anything is a waste of time because we're always learning, but I can't believe I spent so much time believing that I was less than and listening to people who tried to belittle me and make me feel small. I feel like you are just fully embracing the wildness and the uncertainty of the universe and recognizing that you're recognizing what truly satisfies you and what truly makes you happy. So I feel like if, like, for example, let's say you started a goal and you started it from a very material perspective or from a very egoic place, like, I want to do this thing and make X amount of dollars. You're realizing, oh no, what I really wanted was to know that I can start something new and to know that I can trust my flow of abundance and know that I can attract what I need to support myself. It's almost like one of the biggest accomplishments that I really just want to commend you for is you are really learning how to let go and let the universe do its work for you. You are learning to trust that the universe is on your side. And with this duality card, I feel like you are really letting go of all or nothing thinking, where you are recognizing that this and that are true and that life is full of paradoxes, and the fact that there are things you're going to be happy with and there are things you're going to be unhappy with, but you're learning to find satisfaction in the present moment. And this light energy, especially with the Temple of the Sea, is just so beautiful. I'm so excited for you because you are just embracing your power. You are embracing this cycle of completion. And I think that you are really excited for what's to come. And I think the best part is that you may have no idea. You may have no idea what the universe has up its sleeve. You may have no idea what you're meant for. If you are bursting with ideas and racing with ideas, I really think that the universe is getting you prepared to start implementing those. I really feel like you are completing a major healing cycle where it's like, okay, what's next? I've found this sense of completion. I found this sense of wholeness within, and now I'm ready to see what's up the road. I feel like you have the confidence to go with the flow in a way where maybe you once didn't before. Like, maybe you were very fearful and very mistrusting of what the universe had to offer. Maybe you were holding on to scraps and holding on to things that didn't serve you, when this whole time the universe was trying to direct you towards a feast. And they're like, and you might have been really upset when the universe took your scraps away, but now you're starting to see the feast at the finish line, or you're at the feast, and now you're like, okay, I'm full. What's next? And the universe is like, oh, well, you're gonna see. But I do feel like this is gonna be a month where you are just kind of relishing in that sense of wholeness, that sense of completion. It kind of gives me like the World card in the Major Arcana, where it's just like, you feel like you're exactly where you're meant to be. And it may not have been what you envisioned, and it may not be what you expected, but it's better than you could have imagined. And I think you're recognizing where your ego in the past may have been leading you astray, making you believe that you needed to do certain things or accomplish certain things in order to be whole or complete. And you're realizing that that sense of wholeness and that sense of completion within is not based on a material goal. It's based on being in touch with yourself and healing and growing and nurturing yourself, and recognize what will truly sustain you more so than, fickle goals. I feel like you're just seeing how badass you are, honestly. And I think now, either now or once you are in the month of November, so for some of you, if you haven't had this sense of completion yet, but you feel like you're getting there, I want you to take this as confirmation that you are. And you have no idea, please just relish in the feeling of getting to this point. And honestly, please take time to celebrate yourself in whatever way makes you feel good, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of work to reach a place of completion like this. And there's no reason to dumb it down or diminish diminish the magnitude of this accomplishment, because, mainstream society might value different accomplishments, but most of mainstream society hasn't gotten that sense of wholeness and completion within. A lot of them feel, well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think there's a lot of people in this world who feel quite alone and quite empty, and do not realize that maybe what they're seeking in the material world is actually something that they have within, or something that they need to cultivate within. And you figured that out. You've realized what is truly important, or you're realizing what is truly important this month. And it's going to be a really beautiful feeling where you're like, it's almost like a spiritual graduation of sorts, where you're like, I've leveled up. Like, I am really ready. Like, I have done so much healing. I've done so much growth. I really should be so proud of myself. And I'm really proud of you, and like, I'm sure your guides are really proud of you as well. But the most important thing is that you're proud of yourself, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy to get to this space. And yeah, you just deserve a pat on the back. Pat yourself on the back right now, or else. Anyway, let's talk about the challenging energies that are coming with this, because the biggest thing that I'm seeing, first of all, with this Envious Gluttony card is that this could be twofold. However, I do feel like for the majority of you, this is going to be an external energy where other people around you might be very envious towards what you are accomplishing, or they might be very like questioning of what you've done. Like, I feel like a lot of this envy is not about something that you have, it's about the energy that you exude. And it's like, well, why does pile 2 feel that way? Why do they think that way? Like, they're not it, or like me. Like, it really just feels like me. Like, they're basically the adults from like the Snoopy cartoons, like Peanuts. Like, they're kind of the people that I was just talking about a little bit ago, that believe that they are not enough and believe that they need things in order to be worthy. And I'm honestly feeling called to tell you, if you haven't watched ContraPoints' video on envy, to do that if you feel drawn to. I think that video is really good, and I think that it gives you a good idea of envy. And so I do feel like one of the challenges that you might be experiencing is a lot of doubt and uncertainty, which that's an example of a paradox. You feel whole and complete, but then people around you are making you feel like, trying to make you feel less than, or try to doubt the growth and accomplishment that you are having. And I feel like, I don't really say this very often, but I feel like it could come in the form of the evil eye, like people just being really jealous of how happy you seem or how content you are, and it might bring out an insecurity within them where they're like, well, why do they feel that way? Like, they might almost feel like you're lying or putting up a front, and it's like, I think it's just going to trigger insecurity wounds within them. And I mean, this sense of completion could have material rewards attached to it. So if they see that could be an element of it as well. But I do feel like for some of you, especially if you're letting go of connections or people that don't serve you, or situations that don't serve you, I do want to like kind of give you a heads up that they may try to do things to make you jealous or make you feel insecure. And that I think the best thing that you can do is just kind of not acknowledge these people, especially if you follow them on like social media or something like that. Like, don't look at their stories, like don't engage with them. And if you're only following them to keep the peace or something like that, just know you don't have to. But if you feel like for your own safety or something that you need to follow them, or you don't want to create drama so you follow them, put them on mute or something, because I really do feel like they're going to be trying to get your attention, trying to make you feel insecure, trying to prop themselves up in like subliminal ways to try to make you feel insecure. And I feel like the universe is just saying, nah, that is just noise. That is nothing to do with you and everything to do with the insecurities that you bring out in them. Don't worry about it. It's not your problem. Don't even give them the time of day or thought. Like, that's not nice. I just heard in my head, be gone, thought. But like, I feel like in this case, it's not being derogatory. It's instead just saying the negative thoughts that they might try to send your way. You just think, be gone, thought. Like, I don't even want to deal with that. And what I really think your biggest struggle with is going to be maybe feeling guilty about this sense of wholeness and completion that you feel, because other people may not be there yet. And I think that once you are feeling this, and like once you have reached this point, you might like look back at other people that are not there and kind of feel maybe guilty, which I feel like the universe is immediately coming in to be like, they have the tools and the opportunities and the choices to make those same changes that you do, because this is so much less about a physical thing and more about embracing who you truly are, putting the time and the energy in to heal and grow, being honest and self-aware enough to recognize your shortcomings and recognize the choices that you have made that haven't served you, and putting the effort and the energy in to change those. Like, it takes real work and real humbleness, honestly, to accomplish this sense of wholeness, and it takes a lot. And I feel like the universe is really wanting you to know that your challenge is to not minimize your accomplishments. You know, I feel like one thing that that happens when we accomplish things, whether it be internal or external, is it becomes our new normal. And oftentimes we can kind of minimize that because we did it, and so that means it's not very significant. But it is really significant to reach this level of self-awareness, this level of wholeness, this level of completion, and you deserve to feel genuinely good about the time, the energy, and the effort that you have put in to get here, because this was not handed to you. You worked for this. You put in the hours for this. You put in the change for this. Like, this is coming as a direct result of you not only listening to yourself and the divine guidance around you, but being willing to look at the messy parts of you that maybe you are uncomfortable with, to look at your ego and recognize where it was deluding you, to look at the aspects of yourself that you may not really like and recognize that you can either embrace them or do something to grow through them and make them an asset. The people that you are feeling bad for, or the people that are trying to make you feel bad for what you've done, have not put in that same effort and energy. And it's very easy for people that haven't accomplished this to make assumptions about how you achieve this because they didn't put in the work themselves. You know, it's always easy to project what we think someone's life is, or make, you know, my dad says this all the time. It's one of my favorite Jeffisms. You know what happens when we assume things? You make an ass out of you and me. So some people may just be making asses out of themselves, really just feeling jealous and not understanding the amount of time and effort and energy that it took for you to reach this point. And I feel like the universe is saying, don't let your external experiences or some pissy people piss on your beautiful parade. This is your beautiful parade, your celebration, and they do not need to be interfering with that. And I feel like the universe is just saying, you don't have to take pity on other people. You don't have to take pity and feel bad for where you are at, because you put in the work and you deserve to feel good about yourself. You deserve to feel good about what you have accomplished. And I feel like with that, one of the challenges as well is recognizing that we all are on our own journeys, and that if people want to accomplish this themselves, they will, and they'll figure it out in their own way, in their own time, with their own resources. You don't have to be that person, and you don't have to minimize what you've done in order to make them feel better, or you don't have to give them access to your energy, to your time, to feel less guilty. You have no reason to feel guilty. And honestly, if you feel that, just recognize that that feeling of guilt is not stemming from a place of truth. It is stemming from a lack of recognition about the fact that the people that you are feeling guilt about have the same opportunities to grow and change as you do. And if they're trying to make you feel guilty, that's an excellent example of how they're wasting their time worrying about other people instead of looking at themselves. But I feel like with this challenge in terms of leveling up is one of the biggest shifts in this cycle of completion is now there's going to be less, I don't want to say less external support to rely on, but I think your biggest challenge is learning to rely on yourself and learning to trust in your own journey. Now, where I think this envious gluttony could be an internal thing, and it might not be as intense as like envious gluttony, but while you might be satisfied with where you're at, it's very easy to look at what other people have, especially what they project on social media, and believe that they have something more and that what they have means that we're less worthy or something like that. And you may be feeling like you want more. Like it feels really good to reach this sense of completion. Okay, now I want more. And I feel like the universe is saying, don't jump the gun and don't allow the desire. It's not bad to desire more. It's not bad to have desires, but if those desires rob you from the joy of recognizing how far you've come, that is something to be aware of, so that you don't allow that to kind of piss on your parade either. I know it's rain on your parade. I don't know why I have to keep saying that, but I guess that's just what's coming through. I think the biggest thing though is really recognize when a feeling of doubt or negativity or insecurity comes in, because this is really your time to shine. And there might be people that are jealous of that. And you know what? If they can't stand you, they can sit down. If you're too bright, they can put sunglasses on or close their shades. It's not your damn problem. And I think the universe is really saying this is what's going to happen as you level up. Like, you are going to experience random people that are jealous of you. You are going to experience people that just like attack you for no reason. That's part of it. And the more you know yourself, the more you realize it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And it's easy to fall into this like woe is me mentality, or like I'm just trying to live my life. Like, why are these people like so jealous? And it's like, because they don't have a sense of self, because they have insecurities. They would rather project their insecurities outward than look inward. That's their choice. That's their prerogative. You can't change their choice. You can't control what they do. You can't control what they think. If they want to be jealous and they want to be envious, let them do that. That's not your problem. You made the choices to reach this sense of this accomplishment of wholeness, of completion, of moving forward and moving beyond the stories that you've told yourself. You are becoming a fresh new version of yourself, and you do not need it to be sullied by other people that have not put in that effort and work. So really pay attention to the fact that it is not your job to feel guilty. And I really do think one of the best things that you can do for yourself this month is protect yourself from sources in your life that make you feel insecure, from people in your life that make you insecure. I feel like if there are people in a space that you can't really control them being around you, I mean, really make sure you're protecting your energy. But also, like, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's called something like gray rocking or something. Like when someone's really trying to get into your business or be messy or just be like not nice to you or towards others. I feel like if you have to deal with those sorts of people, just like don't give them anything to work with. Like, oh, what are you doing today? Oh, nothing. Like, why do you, like, I honestly just like giving the people that drain you or that aren't very nice to you, like, as little to work with as possible. I feel like if they're trying to snoop, or you feel like you're not obligated to tell anyone about your life, you're not obligated to help anyone, you're not obligated to do anything. Your obligation is to protect yourself first and foremost. And I feel like just really be cautious and be aware of what you're showing and what you're projecting, because not what you're projecting, but like what you're allowing people to see, just because I feel like they could really try to rain on your parade and make you feel insecure and try to diminish all the hard work that you have been achieving. And that's not your job, and that's not fair to you. And so I definitely feel like you're going to be seeing more synchronicities. 555 in particular could be really significant. I also feel like with 25, considering in numerology, it reduces to 7. 777 can be significant as well. But really any synchronicities that you're seeing, you might find them heightening. And I feel like a lot of this next step for you is about trusting yourself, trusting your own internal guidance, and trusting the gifts that you have, and trusting that the universe does still have your back, and that you don't have to see how everything is going to unfold, and actually, kind of surrendering to the wildness of life and recognizing that Your journey is your own, and it's very beautiful. And if you're looking at other people's journeys and comparing yourselves to them, you know, don't do that, because your journey is unique, their journey is unique, and you didn't see their level 1, you didn't see the work that they put in, you don't know what they're really like. Like, it's really just about like keeping the focus on you still. I don't know why, but I feel like Baba Yaga, like her face here really looks like Salma Hayek. And so I don't know if there's this Salma Hayek movie that you feel like drawn to watch, or I don't know, she just has really great energy. So like, I don't know if there's anything Salma Hayek related that you feel called to like look up or like read about, maybe like the Frida Kahlo movie in specifically or something like that. I've never seen it, but I don't know. I just kind of, I've had this Baba Yaga card come out a lot, and I've never had the Salma Hayek thing come out. So if there's something significant there for you, maybe check that out, or maybe that's some sort of synchronicity for you. But yeah, I definitely think that this is kind of a beautiful challenge to have, because so much of it is not about yourself, and so much of it is about just integrating the lessons that you've been learning about what you're personally responsible for, and recognizing that, you know, you can put barriers in place to not allow other people's ickiness to dull your shine, but also recognizing that they also have the power to change themselves, and it's their choice and up to them if they want to waste their time being jealous and shit like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the tarot right now, and I quickly wanted to mention while I'm shuffling that if you are interested in getting love predictions, that is what the extended is going to be today. So what we are going to be doing is essentially seeing what the overall energies for your love life this upcoming month will be, and it is for everyone. So I'm going to be pulling cards for singles, pulling cards for people in situationships, pulling cards for people in relationships, and pulling cards for divine counterparts. That was such bad trouble. And essentially seeing how the current energies will be expressed depending on your relationship status. Pile 1's extended was really, really interesting. So if you're interested in checking that out, it will be linked down below. Of course, no pressure, but I did just want to mention that if you are interested in love predictions, those will be on Vimeo down below. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start by looking at any blessings that you are going to be receiving this month. So what blessings will pile 2 be receiving this month? We have the Knight of Swords. I love that. Okay, I definitely think that this is a lot about clarity. One interesting blessing that I think you're going to be getting is that if you really do have people trying you this month, I feel like you're going to have so many like earth-shattering comebacks. Like, there's a really beautiful clarity here where it's like, not only are you advocating for yourself, but like you're shutting down people that are trying to like make you question yourself, that are trying to make you like doubt yourself or bring you down a peg. I'm thinking specifically of, I can't remember where I saw this, but someone was showing their comment section on TikTok, and someone had commented something. I think it was like Hank Green or something like that. And someone had commented on his TikTok something like, they were asking him a question or telling him something, and I think they said like bestie or something like that. And then someone responded to them, and they were like, no one's talking to you, no one cares. And the person literally just responded with, you are, with like a little happy face emoji, and just like completely crushed that person. And I think that the universe is telling you, like, you can really kill people with kindness here. I love how this Knight of Swords is just so bright, but it's also riding a shark. So I feel like one of the blessings this month is, I feel like through this sense of wholeness and completion that you're feeling, you're not afraid to like just shut shit down that is not meant for you. Like, there's an element of ruthlessness here where it's just like, you are not entertaining other people's bullshit. Like, you are focused on what is important to you. And I also think this laser focus is extending to clarity in what you want to work on, what you want to invest in. And I also feel like as well, you could be getting, I think that also with this Knight of Swords here, there could be some swift resolution with something that has been stressing you out or that you feel like you've needed clarity on. You might be getting a message from someone that is just really encouraging. I just got a specific message as well. Like if you have a teenage child, I know a lot of you are well, you should be an adult if you're watching this. But if you do have a teenage child, I feel like they could be finding some clarity and finding some sense of direction or feeling some sort of confidence. I heard for some, they could be getting like a really exciting acceptance letter or something like that. But for others, I really do feel like this is a lot about you just feeling like things are going your way and you're having the confidence to speak up for yourself. Like, I feel like you're not afraid to speak your truth. And I heard as well, quiet quitting. So maybe for some of you, you're having the confidence, like if you're in a job that doesn't support you and you recognize you're feeling the call to like, okay, maybe it's time to switch or something like that. Or maybe it's time to speak up for myself and just say, no, like I'm not gonna put in extra, or I'm not gonna do what is more than what is asked of me, because that is not like, I'll do more if you pay me more. Like it's kind of just like this element of knowing your worth. And I feel like with the Knight of Swords, like there's a lot of clarity here where I feel like if you have troubling thoughts, you're putting them down immediately. You're not allowing them to live in your head rent free. If you have people trying to test you or mess with you, like you are either just not even dealing with it and just laughing about it, or you are putting them in their place immediately and being like, nah, fuck out of here. Like not doing that. I also just feel like you are just living your truth in a way where you are like, listen, I am not going to keep diminishing my shine. I am not going to worry about what other people think. Like I am living in the light and it feels good. And I am not going to allow anyone to dull my shine. And I just think that this is really beautiful. So also with the Knight of Swords, I feel like you could be having really fulfilling conversations with someone who also has this energy about them. And maybe as well, you could be like mentoring someone younger than you in a way where the completion and the sense of wholeness that you feel is kind of transferring to them as well and helping them have more confidence in their journey. But I really feel like more than anything, king or queen of comebacks this month. And also just like you're cutting through the bullshit. Like you know what is your problem to worry about. You know what isn't. You are going after what you want and feeling very confident in where the universe is taking you. And what I love is like this mermaid is literally riding a shark. So I feel like you are just okay with being wild. You are okay with being free. Like you're okay with where the divine is taking you, because not only do you know you can handle it, but you know they have your best interests at heart. Like this is 100% bad bitch energy. And yes, that is bad bitch, gender neutral, sex neutral. We do energies here. And everyone that picked pile 2 is a bad bitch. Comment and affirm it down below, please. Anyway, I definitely think that this is going to be such an awesome month for you, and I feel like you're just going to be feeling really good. And I also think your sense of discernment is going to be on point. So if you get any messages or any intuitive hits about someone or something, like if you feel like something is a good opportunity and you just feel like, yes, you can trust that and you're going to be right. But if you feel like something is off or like something doesn't seem right or something's not for you, you are not going to feel, hopefully not feel any guilt or hesitation about saying no. But if you do, you will release it really quickly and be like, nah, it's not for me. Move on. Like, not my problem. I also think that, like I said, I think that things could be resolving themselves very swiftly as well. If you have had something that you're ready to move on from, or have had something that has needed to come to completion. Like, I for some of you, I heard that, like, if you're in the process of, like, buying a house or trying to get approved for an apartment, like, you could get approved really quickly, or you could be getting a response really quickly. So you know whether or not it's like the right thing or you need to move on. But next I am going to ask for guidance on how to handle any challenges coming your way. So how can pile 2 deal with the challenging energy that they might be dealing with? We have the Lovers here. And I think that this is really a lot about choice. And the fact that, well, the Lovers does talk about a choice. And I think that this is you just recognizing that you are not going to choose to engage with the negativity. You're not going to choose to allow those sorts of people to bring you to your level. We are also heading into, well, by November, I think it starts, we're in its shadow, but Mars retrograde starts in, Mars retrograde starts on October 30th, and it is in the sign of Gemini. So I do think that the Lovers represents Gemini energy, and I do think that you could be gaining clarity during this Mars retrograde about what matters to you, what doesn't, and recognizing what actions you can take to kind of mitigate any stress or unnecessary overwhelm or struggle. Like, this is really, honestly, Pile 2, this is the time for you to feel good. And if there's just anything not serving you, like, please don't feel guilty about cutting it out. Like, first of all, Archangel Raphael is coming through here specifically. He is helping you on the path of healing and helping you open your heart and make choices that align with the person that you are becoming. But I really just feel like in terms of guidance, the universe is really saying, like, you have the wisdom to navigate these things on your own, and you know the power that lies in choices. And really what it comes down to for you is choose the path of love. Choose the path that resonates for you. There's no reason to need to be petty. There's no reason to need to stoop to someone's level. I know sometimes, like, you see stuff on the internet that's like, be petty, stoop to people's level, which that's people's choice. They can do that. But I feel like if you have reached this level of wholeness and completion, is like, do you really need to? I feel like when you feel that good, you just realize what's not really worth your time and energy. And so I think the universe is just saying, this is a lot about choosing to focus on your own divinity, choosing to focus on you, choosing to focus on what you love, and choosing to make decisions out of love. And sometimes the most loving thing can be to just not engage with someone you know is negative, or to not consume someone's content that you know puts you in a bad place, or not being open to people or situations that you know don't serve you. Like, even though it may be interesting or funny, it's like, you know, it's not aligning with the person that you are, and it's not necessary. So I feel like in terms of handling these challenges, the universe is like, just focus on the good, just focus on the amazing accomplishments that you're having, focus on the love in your life, focus on the love that you have for yourself, the love the universe has for you, and where you're headed. You're on a path of love, not a path of hate, not a path of fear. And those of you, and those who are trying to, not those of you, but those who are trying to bring you back down to their level, or trying to make you feel, trying to transfer their negativity to you or make you doubt yourself, Spirit is just saying, you know, remember your truth and stay aware of the choices that you have. Remember that a lot of your power lies in the power of choice and choosing not to engage, choosing to focus on what is important to you, and not allowing that negativity to affect you. You just keep driving away from those bad vibes. Like, let those rats stay in the back of the class. You don't need to deal with it. The exterminator will get them when you're ready, so, or when they're ready, or when they need it. I don't know. Let's think of the divine as the exterminator. Like, but also you're also the exterminator, because it's like, if you don't engage with the negativity, if you choose not to even entertain it or deal with it, it can't really affect you. And even if it does hurt you or things like that, you have the tools available to bring yourself back to love, to bring yourself back to your truth. And I feel like that feeling is going to be so good. You're just going to recognize it's not worth sacrificing that to satisfy something of my ego. You know, making choices that satisfy my heart and soul are so much more important, and you're just really going to see that. So this is really beautiful, Pile 2. I really love this energy. So I want to see now an internal resource that you can rely on for support this month. So something that's already within you, which you may already know this, so it could just be confirmation. Yeah, but we have the Eight of Cups. So this is really just trusting in the things that you've walked away from, trusting in the journey that you've been on. You know, when you feel those feelings of doubt or those feelings of guilt, remind yourself where you were when you were in a place that wasn't as bright, when you were in the struggle, like when you were in those really challenging times. Like, it was not easy choosing to walk away from whatever wasn't serving you, but you know in your heart you have that power because you've already done it and you can do it again. So if you do find something that, you know, you're having a hard time letting go of, if you're having a hard time moving on from, just remember, I've done it already. I can do it again if I need to, and I can trust myself to make decisions that align with me. If you find yourself doubting yourself or wondering if you've really come as far as you have, yes, you freaking have. And not only that, remind yourself what it was like when you were engaging with those things, engaging with those people, or engaging with those experiences. Those weren't fulfilling you. Those weren't serving you. So just remind yourself of where you were and what you let go of and what you moved on from to get here. And don't allow other people or other things or your doubts to get in the way of the beautiful accomplishment that is just becoming your full self. Like, you have the power to walk away from what doesn't serve you, and you've already been doing that. So I really think the internal resource that you need to be aware of is the fact that you can trust yourself to make decisions that align with the person that you are. And whether you have reached this sense of full circleness, this sense of accomplishment yet or not, you will be. And when you feel that, you'll understand why it was worth letting go of what wasn't serving you, why it was worth taking the road less traveled and not accepting what wasn't fulfilling you. This is all about recognizing that you are meant for bigger, better, brighter horizons that genuinely fulfill you. And so I feel like if you are feeling doubt or you are feeling unsure, just remember how far you've come. Just remember how much you've done, and don't devalue all the effort and work it took to get here. Really just be proud of yourself and recognize that it takes a genuinely strong person to let go of things that aren't serving them, and to be honest with what is serving them and what isn't, and to recognize that if you ever reminisce about the past or you ever wonder if you let go of something good, just recognize if something is meant for you, it will return to you in a much better way. But I think you know what wasn't serving you, and if you're being nostalgic or reminiscing on things or wondering if you missed out on something or you did something wrong, the universe is saying no, you knew it didn't serve you, and you already did the challenging part, or you're almost done with the challenging part, and the universe is saying there's nothing there for you. Don't look back. Trust in where you are in the present and keep moving forward. And just that internal resource for you is just recognizing how far you've come and how amazingly you've carried yourself and how much you've done, and just recognizing that like nostalgia isn't always accurate, and you know in your heart what is fulfilling and what isn't. So if you find yourself wondering if you've made the right choices, just think about yourself before you made them and who you are now after you've made them. And I feel like that will help confirm to you, oh yeah, I definitely made the right decisions. But I'm gonna pull now and see if there's any external resources that the universe wants you to be aware of that could be supportive or helpful for you. So we have the Emperor. I love that. Okay, so this is Aries energy. So this could be an Aries or someone that exudes divine masculine energy. So for some of you, this could be a partner. This could be a father figure, a leader of some kind. They technically don't have to be a man. They just have a more masculine energy. Someone who you respect and admire. Someone who doesn't take other people's crap. Like the Emperor does not sit and worry about like what the people beneath him. Okay, that's not true. A good emperor would care about others, but not to the point where they allow the opinions of him or the opinions of what he's doing to override his full truth. I feel like with this Emperor card being here, if there is someone that you really respect, someone that you trust, and someone that has a really excellent sense of control and confidence in themselves, I feel like that would be a great person to go to for support if you're ever asking for advice, especially around negativity or around people that may have had challenges against. I'm kind of getting like the vibes of someone who's just very empowered. And I feel like if you need evidence of empowerment, it's in this Emperor type figure. So they don't necessarily have to be someone in your immediate environment. Maybe there's someone that you are aware of, or someone that has written things or published things that you find very inspirational that have helped you. I feel like this external resource is either someone or something that helps remind you of your own power and remind you of your sense of control and remind you of the importance of protecting your time and energy. You know, divine masculine energy is very like it's protective of what's important. It is confident and secure in itself, and it is very committed to protecting divine feminine energy, because divine feminine energy is like the creation. It's the energy that finds meaning in things. And the Emperor, the divine masculine energy, which we have both within us, but this is an external resource, which is why I'm not mentioning yours. The divine masculine energy kind of protects and nurtures and nourishes divine feminine energy so that it can continue to thrive. And that is what the divine masculine energy likes to do. It likes to protect, it likes to provide, it likes to make sure that it likes to steer the ship. So I feel like if you are looking for a sense of direction or a sense of support, if you need advice or guidance from someone that you trust, if you feel like you need someone to lean on or someone to give you the confidence to make the decisions that you know will serve you and not what will serve others, or like the Emperor does not people please. The Emperor does not worry about what other people think of him. Like I'm hearing the quote, like, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Like someone like that who is confident in who they are, but also like recognizes like they're not confident to the point of like being domineering or egoic or not listening to other people. This is someone who genuinely cares about others, genuinely cares about the people closest to them. And I feel like they want to see other people empowered. I feel like this is someone, whoever or whatever makes you feel empowered, makes you feel like you're in control, or who can help give you guidance and trust yourself. That is who you want to lean on. This Emperor energy is very solid and very secure and can help you feel confident in yourself when you are feeling a little bit wary. And I feel like almost you don't even need to communicate with them. I mean, if you want to, obviously, but maybe I get the vibe for some of you that this person could be someone of few words. And so I almost feel like you may even just have to ask yourself, like, what would this person do? Or what would an Emperor do? Like Emperor energy. If I would honestly like recommend like looking up Emperor energy and the Emperor card and just kind of studying it and seeing like, you know, what its qualities are and how you can integrate that into your own self-image. I really feel like the Emperor is almost like the counterpart to the Baba Yaga energy, where it's like maybe the only assistance you need now is learning to protect and nurture what you've cultivated, and learning to have the confidence to say no, and to have the confidence to trust your journey thus far and trust in what you've done. Like what you've done is amazing, and it deserves to be protected from those who would just take you further away from yourself. So whoever that is to you, that would be a good external source for support. So I am going to go ahead now and move on to guidance. So we're going to start with this ocean-related guidance. As if you can't tell, I'm really in an ocean state of mind right now, which really sucks because I'm in the Midwest, but you know what? At least I can bring the ocean to me. So if you live near the ocean, or just a large body of water in general, don't take it for granted. Go spend some time out there. It's such awesome energy. Anyway, and maybe take a picture of the ocean near you and tag me on Instagram at @RealAceTarot. I would love to see your ocean pics. Anyway, let's go ahead and see, Spirit, what guidance do you have for pile 2 this month? We have dancing in the rainbow. Break free from whatever you feel is holding you back. Express happiness. Find out what you truly desire. I definitely think that's what you're doing anyway, so this is the universe just confirming that. I also think with the rainbow, chakra healing or some type of energy healing could be helpful. I would also look into color healing, because even just like wearing certain colors or having certain colors around you could help you. Like, for example, if you need more Emperor energy, I feel like having like a lot of red and a lot of yellow, you know, root chakra, solar plexus chakra could be beneficial. For some of you, this Emperor could also be like a father or a father-like figure, or maybe a grandfather, or just someone you know that like didn't take no shit. That's the vibe that you either want to get advice from or follow suit of when you need support. Someone who knows their worth and trusts themselves even when they might experience flack or feel drained from it. Okay, what other guidance for pile 2, Spirit? Shared inspiration. Throw yourself into a new project. Be willing to let go of time constraints and rules and really be aware of whatever fulfills your heart. I feel like dolphins are really significant for you guys. And dolphins, I think, are a wonderful example of playful energy, of fun energy, of following your joy. And dolphins are one of the only animals that do the deed for fun. So like, I feel like this is a lot about just like embracing who you are, embracing what fulfills you, and not allowing anyone or anything or any societal expectations or anyone else's stinkiness to get in the way of your beautiful vibes and the beautiful sense of completion that you've cultivated. But one more card, Spirit. What other guidance do you want to give them? Look beyond the surface. Avoid becoming distracted by surface issues. Focus on the underlying motivation, cause, or beauty in a situation. Seek ways to bring depth to your world. Yeah, this is very good guidance, because I definitely do feel like if you are feeling good about yourself and then you see like someone else accomplishing something really amazing, you might almost be like, well, maybe I need to do that, or feel like what you've done is less important. But no, what you've done is amazing. And yeah, just don't belittle all the progress that you've made just because you think that you could have done better, or your inner perfectionist is coming out. If your inner perfectionist is coming out, tell them to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. And if you can't do that, tell them Xoxo said to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Anyway, we're gonna finish off by looking at what you can surrender. So what does pile 2 need to surrender, please, Spirit? Oh, I love that. Surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. The Emperor would do that as well. The Emperor stays seated. I mean, that one's driving a boat, but in the traditional Emperor, he's sitting on his throne. He's vibing. And the Empress is too. She's just vibing out in nature rather than on a throne. But we also have surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. Yeah, because you can trust it. You've gotten this far. You can keep going. So pile 2, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the extended, where we are going to look at love predictions. But if you're leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking the video if you enjoyed it, commenting down below, letting me know how it resonated, and subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, because that's one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me, as well as liking the video. And checking out the extended, that's super helpful as well. But if you would like to support me in any other ways, you can also check out my social media link down below, and you can check out my merch. But do be aware that there are tons of scammers pretending to be me, and I do not offer personal readings. So if you have someone pretending to be me offering you a personal reading, they are a scammer and liar and honestly a rat. So that's all I have for you guys, pile 2. I want to wish my November Scorpios and Sagittarians a very, very happy birthday. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Amethyst Whale and this stack of Oracle cards, this is going to be your reading on what is happening for you in November of 2022. If you're interested in seeing what the reading breakdown is, I did list that in the intro, so feel free to look at that. But I'm going to go ahead and start by looking at your 2 light energies and your 2 challenging energies for this month. So to start, ooh, we have self-love. Love to see that. We also have Archangel Azrael, death and rebirth, transitions, and life changes. And for your challenging energies, we have grandmas, you don't have to face everything alone, comfort, nurturing energy, support. And we also have naked before the stars. Okay, so there's definitely a mix of energies here in terms of like where, depending on who you are, where you're coming from energetically. But I can definitely see that this is a month where there are blessings, but also bittersweet experiences through those blessings. So starting with this self-love and Archangel Azrael, cards, I definitely think one of the biggest things that you have been going through as of recently and will be continuing to deal with this month is letting go of what isn't serving you and making choices that actually align with the person that you want to be. I feel like you've gotten really honest with yourself about what choices you've made that haven't really been loving, or what elements in your life weren't really working for you anymore in terms of not supporting you, not making you feel good about yourself. And I feel like you really have become aware of the fact that you have to stop waiting for perfection or waiting for this destination distantly in your mind to decide to love yourself. I think you have come to this point where you're like, okay, self-love is not just something that happens, it's action, it's a choice, it's a commitment, and it's something that requires discipline. And I think that you are recognizing now that it's not something that may be simple. It may not be something that you necessarily enjoy doing, but it's something necessary in order to live a life more aligned with who you truly are. Now, I do feel like for some of you, this archangel could be coming in specifically if you lost someone that maybe passed on recently, or the anniversary of their passing is coming up. I feel like those souls specifically are coming through to let you know that they're watching over you and how much they love you, and to know that you can call out to them, ask them for any signs, and just let them know how you're feeling. If you want to talk to them, or if you're doing anything to kind of honor their memory, they want you to know how grateful and appreciative they are, and to just know that they are watching over you and that they love you so much. And I really do think that this is a time where you really need to give yourself grace and be kind to yourself, because I feel like no matter what, even if you haven't lost someone physically, I do feel like some of you could be losing people that you were in friendships with, relationships with, that were no longer serving your highest good. It may have been that you made decisions for yourself from a place of love, but it was hard to let go of that. And you might be grieving a way of living. You might be grieving old friendships, for some of you, old family members. Like I just heard, like maybe no contact, like you might be cutting out people that you may love dearly, but you recognize they can't come with you on this journey because they're impeding your ability to love yourself. So I feel like what's really happening this month is you're getting a lot of grace and a lot of protection as you move through this journey of learning how to be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, and recognize how wonderful you truly are. Now, I do feel like one of the challenges with this is that you may be the type of person to suppress when you're going through a difficult time. You might be the type of person to just hold things down and be there for everyone else. And I feel like the universe is saying that there are people in your life that are wanting to support you. For example, it could be a grandmother or a mother or a grandmother-like figure. No matter what it is to you, whoever is a comforting source in your life, if you feel like you don't even need to tell them about what's going on with you, but if there are any experiences or any people that can help you feel cared for and nurtured during this time, I think the universe is really suggesting that you give yourself the time and the space to do that. I feel like this is a month where you're not meant to push yourself. You're just meant to kindly allow yourself to work through whatever transitions you are going through. Specifically, if you are missing a family member, one thing that I heard is that if they have any recipes, for example, that really make you feel close and connected to them, maybe taking time to make those, or find old pictures and put those out, or if there's like a particular scent or perfume maybe that they wore, or cologne, for example, maybe finding that, or finding something similar. If they had, candles that they liked, or movies that you watched together. I feel like the universe is saying whether loved ones that make you feel comfort and nurtured are in the physical or have already passed on, I feel like you're really being encouraged to tap into that desire for comfort and recognize that is a huge part of self-love, is allowing yourself to be patient with where you're at on your journey and not forcing yourself to do more than you can handle at this time, or to push through painful emotions or emotions of grief when you're not in a place to be pushing those away. I feel like what's really important this month is to just be honest with yourself about where you're at and let go of the perfectionist mindset. That's part of loving yourself. Being a perfectionist and expecting these high expectations, how's that word count for you, ASO? Just having unrealistic expectations for yourself and denying yourself the opportunity to feel your emotions and to allow yourself to have a break and just be kind to yourself, that is an example of not being loving to yourself. And this month is an excellent opportunity for you to see how maybe in the past you did things under the guise of loving yourself, but what you may be realizing is that it wasn't actually self-love. It was self-betrayal, in the sense that maybe you did force yourself to push through things or to go the extra mile when you were feeling tired or exhausted. I feel like there's this recognition of sometimes being kind to ourselves and loving to ourselves is not having discipline, is not, well, I mean, not that discipline is a bad thing. Discipline can be a good thing, but sometimes it takes discipline to be kind to ourselves. Sometimes it takes discipline to allow ourselves to rest. And I think that maybe if you've had this idea of like, well, I'll only love myself once I reach this goal, or I can only be happy with myself once I reach this destination, I feel like you're having the awareness this month that that is not a way to look at self-love. I feel like with this Naked Before the Stars card, this is it looking at all of yourself and recognizing that perfection or imperfections are just societal concepts that we place on ourselves, and that maybe one way that you could kind of help reframe those certain things, those certain aspects of yourself that maybe you're not happy with, is to recognize function over form. So for example, if you're dealing with certain insecurities around your body, instead of, forcing yourself to say something that you don't actually feel about yourself, having gratitude for the work that your body puts in to keep you alive, or, being like, I'm grateful for my eyes because they allow me to see. I'm grateful for my nose because they allow me to smell. I'm grateful for my mouth because it allows me to taste excellent food. Finding, I feel like function over form could be helpful for you in terms of just recognizing how special and precious your body is, and that there are a lot of aspects in our society that really make us feel like we're doing something wrong or that we need to look a certain way, which is just not true. And I feel like if you're also consuming content that maybe makes you feel insecure, or are in circles or groups where there may be kind of problematic ideals around body image or self-love, like if you have particularly self-destructive people in your life, or belong to self-destructive groups that, you may love them, but you recognize like when you're around them, maybe you just don't treat yourself very well, or the effects of being around them become known to you, like you may feel worse. I feel like you're having the awareness and having the courage to change your habits, and so that you can start to change your mindset and make the necessary actions to be able to live a life in alignment with loving yourself. The goddess Aphrodite is coming through as well, and some of her counterparts would also include like Isis, Venus, Ishtar. If you are connected to any of those goddesses, they could have wisdom for you, or if you pray to them, maybe they could have some guidance for you as well. But I do feel like this is a month where you're not meant to be hard on yourself. I mean, we shouldn't be hard on ourselves in general, but I feel like you're making great strides. And I think that the actions that you are taking this month are really incredible, because it's just showing the commitment to yourself. And it's going to be really easy for your mind to kind of maybe be mean to you or diminish all of the hard work that you're doing to try to get yourself to a better place. And so I feel like the universe is really encouraging you, like when you get stuck in your head, or when you're trying to suppress maybe negative thoughts or feelings that you have about yourself or about the changes that you're making, that's really when you want to reach out to someone that you care about, or really get into habits or behaviors or activities that make you feel nourished, that make you feel loved. I feel like one thing that you need to know is that you're definitely not alone in terms of the spirit world. There's a lot of protection around you. I also feel like you might be seeing like orbs especially in pictures or like flashes of light out of the corner of your eyes. I feel like you're being especially protected this month, and you might actually find that even if you try to take certain actions that you would in the past, like maybe, for example, you have a particular friend that you know you always get into trouble with, but you can't help but just like have that impulse. All of a sudden they're like really busy and they can't hang out, or they're not responding for whatever reason. I almost feel like the universe might be kind of assisting you in making helpful choices towards yourself. I feel like the biggest thing though is that your challenge is acceptance. And the biggest thing around acceptance is acceptance of self and acceptance of where you're at, and to recognize how amazing it is that you're making choices aligned with the person you want to be, and you're recognizing what you've been doing, how you've been processing things, how you've been looking at the world isn't serving you anymore. And I feel like the universe is really telling you right now, it is okay to feel however you are feeling about whatever you're going through. I think the month of November is just about giving yourself grace as you go through these transitions. So for example, some of you could be moving, some of you could have loved ones moving out, some of you could be, going through coming into a relationship or leaving a relationship. You could be really just changing up your life, or maybe taking up new habits, things like that. And change is never easy. As humans, we kind of like things to stay the same. And the fact that you are making these changes and that you are showing yourself physically how you care for yourself and that you're deserving of love and care is an incredible feat. And I really think that this month, just go the extra mile when it comes to being kind to yourself, and go the extra mile when it comes to giving yourself comfort. Even if it's like, if you have a boss, don't tell them I said this, but maybe you can, they can yell at me. If you need a coffee before work and it's gonna make you a couple minutes late, do it. If you need something in order to just feel a little bit better, do it. If you want to buy a stuffed animal randomly, do it. Whatever. I feel like this is a month where you may just need a little extra support, and you may need to give yourself the permission to ask for that or make it happen, if that makes sense. I feel like especially if you're used to denying yourself or telling yourself, oh yeah, I'll reward myself when I get here, or I'll reward myself when I do this. I feel like this is a month where you say, no, I'll reward myself now for getting myself here. No, I'll be kind to myself now and give myself comfort now for doing as much as I've been doing. I feel like especially if you're the type of person to deprive yourself or push yourself beyond your limits, this is a month where you're recognizing, I can't do that and be loving towards myself. If I continue to push myself to the brink, if I continue to force myself to do things in order to achieve a milestone or hit a certain number, that is a form of self-abuse, and I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. You don't always have to do your best. Sometimes, no, doing your best does not mean pushing yourself to the brink. Doing your best means doing all you can without harming yourself in the process. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is a lot about just recognizing how incredible you are, and how maybe your journey hasn't been easy, and getting to this point or getting through this point of time might be challenging, but that doesn't mean you need to add extra challenge on top of it by being mean to yourself, beating yourself up about it, especially if you're looking at past experiences and being like, I can't believe I put up with that for so long, or I can't believe I didn't see the signs earlier. The universe is like, no, stop that now, because you had to go through what you did in order to become aware of it. And awareness is the first step to change, and you can't change what happened in the past. And when you catch yourself going into those mindsets, instead of enabling it, tell yourself, obviously it would have been great if we caught this sooner, but we caught it when we did, and now we can start to do something about it. There is no use in being hard on ourselves and making things even more difficult for ourselves, because we're already doing the best we can. There's no reason to add extra stress by being unkind to ourselves, by shaming ourselves. I really think this is an opportunity to just look at your magnificence this month and recognize how great of a person you are, and how much the people in your life are truly grateful for you, and to recognize where, you know, maybe you've gotten into mistakes in the past and it wasn't because there was something inherently wrong with you. It's just that you had different ideas of who you were, different ideas of what you deserved, and you weren't aware of, you know, maybe the intentions other people had, or the darkness that other people had within them. I feel like especially if you're a person with a really kind heart, you know, you might be beating yourself up for giving yourself and your time to the wrong people. And I feel like the universe is saying that's not something to beat yourself up for. You shouldn't shame yourself for having a kind heart. You shouldn't shame yourself for being generous. All you should do is recognize that your kindness and your generosity are aspects of yourself that deserve to be protected from people that will take advantage of it, so that you can save those qualities of yourself to give it not only to yourself, but towards the people who genuinely do add to your life and to the experiences that add to your life. This is a lot about recognizing that self-love isn't always the easiest thing to do. Oftentimes it's the thing that we feel uncomfortable doing, or it's making those changes that we know we need to make but we keep putting off. It's recognizing that if we really do want our lives to change, we have to be willing to implement those changes and do things differently. You know the phrase, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. This is you realizing that if you keep putting off your contentment, your peace, your sense of self, your empowerment, your sense of worth into a milestone in the future, or a near goal in the future, you're never going to get it, because once you hit that goal, there's going to be something else wrong or something new to hit. And I feel like what you need to look at is not what's right or wrong, but just the fact that you exist, that you have a beating heart, and that you're fucking human, and that you deserve to be kind to yourself, and that there are people that genuinely love you. There are spirits that genuinely love you. The universe loves you unconditionally, and you deserve to see how magnificent you are, and you deserve to take actions and have behaviors that uphold that idea of self-love. You are beautiful the way you are, and I don't mean that physically. I mean you are spiritually beautiful, and that your heart is beautiful, and that's what truly matters. And everything else is just a byproduct of being, you know? Like our bodies are incredible. Like the more you learn about like the human body and just all that it does to protect us, all that it does to help us, you know, get our silly little tasks done, all it does to hold the spirit, you recognize that it's truly a sacred vessel that is not to be shamed or desecrated. You know, there's a lot of stuff in our society that makes us believe that our natural bodily functions or natural bodily instincts are something to shame or suppress. And I feel like what you're realizing is that that is a cycle of just honestly bullshit that leads to nowhere, because beauty trends are always changing. What is in is always changing, and none of that stuff really matters. And if we don't feed into it, it's harder for it to affect us. I mean, obviously you can't just like, it's hard to just like think like, okay, yeah, I've had body issues for the majority of my life. I'm just gonna stop doing that and just like be fine and love myself. Like obviously things don't happen that way, but it's about recognizing that you can take steps to start showing yourself kindness, and recognize that a lot of what has maybe made you feel like there was something inherently wrong with you is not the truth, but it's illusions perpetuated by, you know, a lot of societal issues. So in that case, you know, just reminding yourself when you have those challenging thoughts, okay, you know, obviously, I think we all have things that we wish we could change. And if we can change them, maybe we can take small steps and be kind to ourselves and find a solution that's going to work for us. But, you know, if we're beating ourselves up over things we can't change, or we're beating ourselves up over not having some sort of ideal that would require self-abuse in order to get it, like that is it's such a magnificent thing not to buy into that. Like that is such an amazing form of self-love to say, you know what, I'm not going to push myself to the brink. I'm not going to be cruel to myself and force myself to fit into some standard and create suffering in the process. I think that this is a really beautiful month where you're recognizing that changes may not be easy, but they're worth it. And that when you come out on the other side, you'll be so grateful to your past self or the current self right now that was brave enough to make those changes, because you're setting your future self up for success. You're setting your future self up to have more kindness, to have more love, to have more compassion, not only for yourself, but for others that struggle with certain things too. And I feel like one thing that you need to know is that you're not only doing this for yourself, you're doing this for other people who struggle with the same issues as you. Like, when you are able to grow through problems, you can become a better support system for people that have the same ones. I get this vibe that for some of you, you could really be an inspiration for people that go through the same struggles as you. And I feel like what the universe wants you to know is that there's nothing wrong with you. The only thing that was wrong was the perception that society had that made you believe there was something wrong in the first place. So I really think that the beautiful thing about this month is that you are recognizing what kindness to yourself truly is, and recognizing what needs to change or what you need to continue doing in order to show yourself that self-love. And I really encourage you to pat yourself on the back for what you've already done to get in alignment with loving yourself and being kind to yourself. You know, self-love is not necessarily just waking up being like, I love myself, yes, which like it can be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Affirmations are great, but it's also making actions that making and taking actions that uphold with behaviors that are loving towards ourselves and loving towards other people as well. And I think the more you become aware of what makes you feel good, and the more you focus on how you're feeling, and not just like emotionally or mentally, but physically as well, that will kind of help you know what are the best actions to take in order to keep showing yourself that love. So like, for example, if you're having a really, really hard day, I don't think pushing through and telling yourself it's fine, get over it, is very loving. You know, if you're having a really tough day or really struggling with your body image or something like that, you know, what would you tell a friend that was going through the same thing? You wouldn't tell them, get over it, just figure it out. You would probably be very kind and understanding towards them. So I think one of the best things that you can do this month is either seek support from people that you know are safe and can give you that love and that comfort. And if you don't have anyone right now, to take those actions and maybe seek out like support groups or ways that you can find support in your community if you don't have it in your immediate circle. Sometimes in order to do things that are loving, we have to be willing to try new things and to try things differently. And I think the universe is saying that we are loving you and guiding you through this process. And I feel like you might even have like little opportunities pop up for things like, I just heard like a crochet class, or like maybe little classes or free tryout classes or something like that. I feel like there are just a lot of opportunities within your community this month to try new things, maybe meet new people. And I think as well, the more you just commit to this new way of living, because this really is a kind of death and rebirth. It's like a death of the self-shaming, a death of a life that was making you feel like you weren't good enough, and the birth of a life that recognizes that you are worthy and deserving of showing yourself love, and also empowering yourself to have loving experiences and being open to receiving love from other people. That's part of self-love as well. You know, there might be people in your immediate circle that want to show you love, that want to show you kindness, and it might make you really uncomfortable, but that's an exact area of where you want to be more open and receptive to that. Because if you can't receive things from other people, you're going to have to only rely on yourself to show yourself love, and sometimes that's not always realistic. You know, we're social creatures. Sometimes we need assistance, sometimes we need other people. It's unrealistic to think that you can just be entirely detached from the outside world and not feel like you don't need support from others. You know, that is another example of that's not very loving, of denying your social needs or denying your need for support, which is perfect that we are talking about certain topics, because we're going to look at support systems. So let's go ahead and get into the tarot now and get a little bit more specific into what might be happening this month. But while I'm shuffling, I did quickly want to mention that there is going to be an extended for this video where we are going to be looking at love predictions for the upcoming month. It doesn't matter whether you're single, in a relationship, in a situationship or in a divine counterpart connection. We're going to be looking at your overall energies for everyone that picked this pile for love, and then I'm going to be pulling specific cards for each relationship status group, and then also pulling advice as well. They've been really interesting so far, and I've really enjoyed them. So if you want to check that out at the end of the video, that'll be linked below. But I'm just grateful you're here. So we're going to go ahead and start by looking at some blessings, or any blessing that you will receive this month, especially as a result of these beautiful changes that you're making and these beautiful loving actions that you're taking for yourself. So we have the Hermit. Okay, I love this. I love this so much, actually. I really feel like one thing that you're going to be doing is recognizing where maybe you've been giving too much of yourself and kind of overexposing yourself. I feel like this Hermit card is a lot about going within and kind of recognizing your inner light and reconnecting to it. I feel like there could also be a lot of inner child healing as well, where especially if you've been feeling really old recently, and that doesn't matter like how old you are, but you know how sometimes you feel old. I think you're like almost reconnecting with your youth in a way, where you're recognizing that the version of you now is just as worthy of love as the 2-year-old version of you was, as the 4-year-old version of you was. I feel like this is an opportunity where you might be cultivating really wonderful meditation habits. You might also be kind of organizing your life in ways that are more helpful to you. Like instead of forcing yourself to come up with some strict, rigid routine, you know, maybe you're coming up with routines that actually serve you, or maybe you're finding solutions to problems that you thought you couldn't ever figure out. I feel like your power for manifestation is really strong this month, and I almost just feel like if you've really been needing alone time, or you've had a hard time being alone by yourself or listening to your inner world, I feel like the changes that you have been making are going to make it so that you are not afraid to face your inner self anymore, where you are actually carving out time for things like meditation, for things that only benefit you. I feel like this blessing is you're no longer holding so much guilt and shame over self-care activities, over being kind to yourself, over needing alone time, or needing alone time with people that truly understand you. I feel like with this Hermit card as well, you might also be overcoming fears around being open with other people. So for example, you know, you might be overcoming fears of asking for support. You might find someone with a fellow Hermit energy, or maybe someone that you are close to, but maybe you haven't talked to in a really long time, and you find that you both are going through similar things and you're able to share wisdom with one another. I feel like, especially with this Hermit card being here and having this little sunset here, I really feel like the sun is setting on a lot of actually, I guess that could also be a sunrise, sunset. What's that song? Cats in the Cradle with the Silver Spoon. That song's coming in. But I feel like if you either the sun is setting on a difficult time in your life, or the sun is rising to recognize the light that is coming into your life. It is a new dawn, a new day. And I feel like you are just coming at life with more wisdom and more motivation and more vigor to look at what needs to be done, to recognize that you have more power than you thought you did, and that you have much more wisdom than you thought you did. I also think that you're going to be seeing and receiving blessings from making difficult decisions that maybe you are scared to do in the past. Like, I feel like for some of you, and this could be like a really specific example, but like maybe, for example, if you had a friend group that was particularly problematic, or just kind of never really got you to a good place, it just kind of seemed like it was a more destructive group, like you could be finding out about some sort of trouble that they're getting into, or you know, something kind of like particularly dramatic could happen there, and you could just be like, oh wow, like I'm so glad I cut ties with those people. Or I feel like you're also seeing and gaining clarity on just what blessings you already have in your life already. I feel like you're slowing down in a lot of really beautiful ways, where you're recognizing that a lot of your, I feel like one thing that you're recognizing is that a lot of your problems weren't directly around you. They were either around the people you were associating with or the experiences you were putting yourself in or allowing yourself to have. And I feel like the better your boundaries get, not only with others, but with yourself, the more you're recognizing that maybe a lot of your difficulty and a lot of your stress was not directly from you, but from your environment. And not only that, recognizing how you picked up certain behavioral patterns or picked up certain thoughts based on your environment, and you're recognizing that those were never your reality and you don't have to carry them anymore. This is just a beautiful time where you are just seeing how much wisdom you've gained and how powerful you are, how much you've grown. And I think too, if you've really been needing some alone time or you've just really needed time to take a breather, I think you're getting that this month, and also kind of seeing the steps necessary to kind of get things going and getting things together. So I think that this is going to be a beautiful month for you of regeneration and healing and just being able to take a breath and not be so hard on yourself. I also think that you're making the necessary changes to combat any difficult mental patterns you've had or difficult behavioral patterns that you thought you couldn't break. Like, I feel like you really are overcoming a lot of past struggles that the former version of you wouldn't have been able to overcome, but the version of you now is. And I just feel this sense of confidence. I feel like I see angels rejoicing. Like, I see like family members just being like, wow, like pile 3, like they've grown so much. I feel like, you know, there is so many people, so many spirits proud of you, watching over you, blessing you this month. Do not think any of the changes that you're going through are in vain. It is absolutely okay to feel however you feel about it. It is okay to be frustrated. It's okay to feel however you feel. The point is not to give up and not to let go of this beautiful, beautiful self-love that you are cultivating for yourself, because it is bringing you into many more blessings. You know, what comes after the Hermit is the Wheel of Fortune. So I definitely feel like this is almost like a window period of like just before things are going to get really good. It's almost like you're setting yourself up to receive beautiful blessings. And I feel called to say too, you know, that if you've really been trying to manifest a love interest or something like that, or you've been trying, if you're in a relationship and you've really been wanting things to get better, I feel like you're doing the necessary inner work to recognize where your bit is in all of this, and you're setting yourself up to receive better relationships, or you are figuring out what within you either needs to change or is fine the way it is. And I feel like this inner work that you are doing is helping you recognize what decisions you need to make as a result, or what conversations you need to have, or what it is that you need to do in order to get yourself in a better position. And not only that, you're not just knowing, but you're also being. So this is a really, really beautiful time period. And I feel like you might not feel like it's a great time period because you might be really focused on what's leaving your life, on what's lost. But the universe is saying, you know, don't give up, because you're going to be so shocked at like what's found. And I'm hearing Amazing Grace in my head. Like, so you are finding yourself, and that's a really beautiful blessing. And the blessings that will come as a result of finding yourself, oh my God, chef's kiss. So now I want to see guidance on how to handle any challenges you are experiencing. So we have the Queen of Cups. So I definitely think that this is a lot about trusting your intuition and tapping into your emotions to know what it is you need at a given time. But if you have a water sign in your life, they could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or have those Pisces placements, or you have someone in your life that is particularly emotionally nurturing and caring, that is definitely someone that Spirit is saying that you can reach out to or talk to about any struggles that you're going through. Even if you don't want to talk to them about what you're going through, I think just spending time with them and being in their energy could be particularly healing. For example, like if you have a friend that just has a really cozy home, or you know, you have like a grandma or a family member that just always makes you feel better, I feel like the universe is saying, if you can't be around them, you know, try to communicate with them or try to spend some time with them. If not, even just saying like, what would they do, or how would they bring comfort to this situation if I needed them, if that makes sense. But I also think this Queen of Cups is about honoring your emotions this month. And listening to the wisdom that they have for you, especially if you kind of neglected your emotions or tried to push down your emotions. I feel like your emotions are going to be coming out to be expressed this month, and that's not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing, because I actually said this for another pile, but when you're feeling your emotions and allowing them to flow, that's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. That's a sign that you're healing and letting go of things that you were keeping suppressed. And emotions are just data. We don't have to attach meaning to them or attach shame or rejection to them. You know, emotions are just communicating something to us. So I feel like you're really being guided to listen to what your emotions are communicating to you this month. And if you need support, if you need comfort, if you need guidance, feel free to find those outlets or reach out to those outlets. You don't have to be alone in all of this. I feel like especially if you have gone through a lot of things alone, this is your month and this is your opportunity to recognize where you don't have to do it alone. I feel like you are aware already of, you know, what is kind of on you to work on and change and fix. But I feel like there are a lot of things as well that don't need fixing, that don't need changing. They just need a listening ear or just someone supportive to show you kindness and show you love. So I want to see what inner resource you do have to lean on if you are feeling uncomfortable with reaching out for help. So what internal resource does pile 3 have to lean on? Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like you're already taking steps to create more loving habits. I feel like the universe is saying to continue to do that. I feel like this is also encouragement to lean on your immediate environment. You know, if you feel like there are ways that you could change up your room or change up your environment, like maybe you need to declutter things, or maybe if you're a person who isn't very organized, like finding ways to declutter what doesn't work and create more organization that would be helpful for you. I feel like you might need to let go of things looking aesthetically pleasing and instead finding ways that things are functional for you. I also think just continuing to kind of study how you respond to things as you are moving through this process of becoming a more loving version of yourself. I feel like this is just about being kind, being patient to yourself, and also just listening to yourself when it comes to what do I need or what could help me. And if you don't know, being willing to experiment with what that might be. Like maybe I need to go for a walk, or maybe I need to watch a heartfelt movie or a movie that brings me nostalgia. Maybe I need to call a friend, or maybe I need to go to a family member's house. You know, maybe I need to have a little retail therapy, whatever it may be. I feel like the universe is saying right now, this is kind of a process of you learning about what works and what doesn't, what uplifts you and what won't, so that you can continue to create this environment for yourself that is more helpful, that is more conducive to your growth. I feel like this is not about being perfect. This is just about finding what works and not feeling afraid to tweak it. I think especially if you have been relying on external resources to tell you how to do things, to show you how to fix things, I think the universe is kind of saying, hey, feel free to kind of let go of that and instead think of how things could be better for you. Or if you are using external resources, take from those what just works and discard the rest. Find ways to make things work for you rather than do things the cut and dry right way. There is no right way. Let go of the idea that there are right and wrong ways to do things. For you, should just be about what works for you and what doesn't. But I also think being really encouraging towards yourself around the changes that you are making, around the growth that you have had. And I think to recognize that this is a really solid start. And I'm hearing in my head, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So to recognize that you are planting seeds right now that will take a little while to be harvested, if that makes sense. Like the changes that you're making will take time to kind of show the results from them. It will take, you know, a little bit of just patience to kind of allow the fruits of your labor to kind of show. I also think one specific piece of guidance that you're getting is to make sure you're documenting things, like documenting your feelings, documenting what changes you're making, what's working and what's not. I would pay attention to things like seasonal changes, how that's affecting you. Pay attention to what's going on in the sky. So if, like, for example, we do have a lot going on right now. Like, as I'm filming this, there's a lunar eclipse. I think there's a solar eclipse coming up. We're going through Mars retrograde. I think that this is a lot about just being willing to study yourself and being willing to kind of experiment with what's going to work for you and what doesn't, and document it. Because if you don't, you might not see how much progress you're making and how much you're growing. So be willing to document what's going on and what's changing. And also, you know, just be willing to have a beginner's mindset around figuring out what's going to work for you and what doesn't. And just be patient and kind with yourself. I think that's the best thing that you can do for yourself, and just recognize that you can't force things to change, or you can't force yourself to be over something quicker than you'd like. The best thing that you can do is be present with yourself in each moment and ask yourself how you can take advantage of that, how you can stay grounded in this present moment and not get too lost in the past or the future. That is what will really help you make concrete changes and support the person that you're becoming. And I feel like you just need to know, like, you're doing amazing, pile 3. Like, I really am so proud of you, and it takes a lot of compassion. It takes a lot of willingness to make these changes and take responsibility for what on your end needs to change in order for you to live a life more aligned with who you're becoming. So just know that these changes are happening. Even if you don't see immediate results, you just need to let go of those immediate results and just be willing to see how the process and how the journey plays out for you. And that way you can know what is going to continue working for you and what isn't, so that you can keep making tweaks and find ways to make things even better for yourself. Things are just going to be building momentum and becoming easier as time goes on. And I think the one thing that you need to know is that these changes that you're making, they may seem hard and they may feel hard, but what you need to know is that the changes that you're making, while that itself might be challenging, it's going to be a lot easier to stick to them once you realize how much better you feel after taking those changes. So let's also see if there's any other external resources or external support to be aware of. Okay, this is actually really cute. I feel like with the 5 of Wands being here, there might be multiple people or multiple there might be many different sources of external support in your life that want to be helpful towards you. Like, for example, if you have a really close friend and or you also have a cousin that wants to be with you, or you want to have a family member that wants to be with you, I feel like this is all about being choosy and picking what you want, not what people want from you. But I also do see an element here that if you do have a friend group, or this could be something maybe that you're having trouble letting go of. If you have a friend group or people in your life that seem to bring their conflicts to your door, one form of external support you can give yourself is just not allowing them to be the person you come to vent, especially when you need space yourself. I feel like this external support is kind of twofold, where you may have a lot of people that want to be in your life and want to help you. And so part of this blessing around the Hermit could be like having the confidence to say no, or to only allow people to spend time with that you want to spend time with, only allow people into your space that you feel comfortable with. But I feel like there's actually part of the external support that you could give yourself is just not humoring people in situations that don't serve you, like especially people that bring drama into your life, especially people that make you feel bad about yourself or make you feel like you have to defend yourself or you have to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. And I think that if there are any sources of conflict in your life right now that are not even directly related to you, but just people that have a lot of conflict in their life and they're bringing it to you, or if you consume things like, for example, like reality TV with a lot of conflict, for example, I'm not telling you what to do, but I am saying maybe just be aware of how that affects your mood and how that affects your energy, because you may not realize how you're kind of taking that energy on. And I think that if you are used to particularly chaotic environments or chaotic people kind of coming into your life and kind of allowing them or not putting your foot down around them, and they kind of rob your time and energy, I think that the external support that you can give yourself is just not allowing them to impede on your time. Just say no. No is a complete sentence. But I also think for some of you, there are a lot of people that love you and a lot of people that want to be there for you. So you have the luxury of being able to pick who will best support you in that moment. And I feel like, especially if these are kind people that just genuinely want to help you, they're not going to take it personally if you're like, hey, I actually kind of just need some alone time today. I kind of just need to do my own thing. I feel like they're going to be really understanding of that. But if there's anyone that brings drama or conflict into your life that just really stresses you out, I feel like this external support is more so just getting rid of the external resources that are draining you, and that will help you support yourself and recognize that you don't have to carry other people's burdens for them. So we're going to go ahead and move on to advice now. We're going to start with ocean cards, obviously, because we've had quite a beautiful theme. Oh, also another message that I got, if you have been trying to get more like physically active, or you find yourself being like very, like your mind racing a lot and just getting stuck in your head, quite possibly maybe finding like a community sports team, something that's competitive. It doesn't even have to be sports. Like maybe it's a Connect 4 team or something like that. Something with a competitive edge. You might have a lot of fun doing that. Like, just doing something that gets you kind of out of your head in an unproductive way, and in your head in a productive way. Like if it's a trivia club or something. I feel like something with a competitive edge to it, you might enjoy doing if that sounds right. But whatever interpretation of the Five of Wands you like, take what resonates. And if you get one, and I should say that if you get an interpretation for any of these cards that I don't say, please take it, because I can't possibly list all of the possibilities, but you can be aware of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Spirit, what guidance do you want to give pile 3 when it comes to this upcoming month, please? Oh, I love this. Let your personality shine. You have something no one else has that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. I also think the number 33 could be significant, which is bleh, I can't talk. 3 is a number of the Empress, so I feel like Empress energy could be something that you're embracing. But also, I think like 333 is an excellent example of ascension and things like that. So I think that you really are just improving, and you really just need to be kind to yourself this month, because you are doing amazing, sweetie. We also have leaping through the air. A plan you have made is on track. If you are waiting for something, get to work and stop putting off ideas or projects you are considering. So that's really funny, because I was literally saying like, don't push yourself. But this could be, if you're the type of person to procrastinate on things and push everything to the last minute and then like kind of do everything in a panic, maybe this internal resource is saying like, no, rely on yourself to make a plan and stick to it, and recognize that like, you know, it's going to be kinder to yourself if you're able to do a little bit a day rather than push through something and work 12 hours at a time. I mean, obviously do what works for you, but I think also part of this is not even about putting something off. I feel like you need to know that you have permission to put things off or take some time to yourself if you're really struggling. I feel like this is more a sign that you are on track. No matter what, like you are on track, headed in the right direction towards achieving your goals. You don't need to, if you're the type of person to micromanage yourself, I would say give yourself a little bit of grace. But if you are also feeling like you can't take time to just nurture yourself and comfort yourself, I feel like this is saying everything will be fine. Like you're still on track. But if some of you do need that kind of little like, hey, you can do this, you can get things done, maybe doing things in a more incremental way rather than an all or nothing way could be a great way to show yourself love. And we also have back on task. Be sure you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or a project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. And I think also this back on task is not just about tasks. I think it's more so about like sometimes, which I think is honestly kind of messed up, that we look at life through the lens of productivity. But if you are looking at life through the lens of productivity, I think sometimes resting can be the most productive thing to do. Oh, but I love what's on the back of the deck. Safe and surrounded by love. Keep your heart open and know you are being protected. Listen to what you know to be true and allow yourself to see and understand what is going on around you. I also feel like dolphins could be a positive sign that your guides or your loved ones are watching over you and letting you know that you're on the right path. But just know your happiness, your contentment, your self-love are the most important things. I do think it's a little bit ironic that these things are like, hey, get your shit together. But I think it's more get your shit together in a kind way, not in a, oh my God, I need to get my shit together, but I'm just going to do things that I know aren't going to serve me, like scroll on TikTok for 5 hours and then stay up way too late. And I think it could be things like making sure you get enough rest, make sure you're drinking enough water, make sure you're consuming things that uplift you rather than make you feel like shit. Pay attention to what helps you and what doesn't. And really just be kind to yourself when you do make decisions that don't uphold with the person that you're becoming, you know? Don't let slips become slides. But we're going to go ahead and look at maybe what you need to surrender this upcoming month. So, Spirit, what does pile 3 need to surrender? And we got 2. We have surrender frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. And we have surrender the drama. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm and don't contribute to the drama. Staying centered will help resolve the issue more quickly. So maybe there is something where you just kind of need to put your foot down or make a decision that is going to get people off your back or show people that you're not going to put up with the same treatment anymore. I do think Spirit is really saying like a source of external support could be cutting off some sort of external source of stress that isn't serving you anymore. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. If you're interested in checking out your love predictions, those will be linked down below in the extended. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking if you enjoyed the video. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and show appreciation. But if you would like to in other ways, you can comment down below. Let me know how this resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my social media, though do be aware I do not offer personal readings and there are scammers that pretend to impersonate me in the comments and on social media. So just know if someone is pretending to be me, claiming to offer you a personal reading, that is not me. And I have merch as well. So that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope all of my November Scorpios and Sagittarians have a very happy birthday. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you are watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!